Hump Day edition. What it do? What it do? What it do? 414 stand up. It's Outlaw Radio time. Won't keep you up all night, but we will go until the conversation stops. Or until I put an end to it. Welcome to the show, Outlaw Radio. Good enough on the Hump Day edition of Outlaw Radio, which means Wednesday night edition. Our last show of the week. Won't be back until Monday. So, I know everybody has something on their mind. I know, like Tupac said, everybody had to open their mouth with a motherfucker opinion. So this is the show where you can do that at. This is excuse me for a second. Okay. This is the show for foundational Black Americans. In particular, foundational Black American men, but the sisters is always welcome. So you might hear some things on this show that are so black that you might not even thought about it yet, and you consider yourself the blackest of the black. A number attached to the show, 262-202-5131. Scrolling across the bottom of the screen. You can call in and participate in the conversation. Our chat room always jumps. So there's a million different ways to go about this. Mondays and Wednesdays is when the show is on. Where's the show at? The show's on my personal Facebook page, Kevin Barnes. That's my government name. Then we have an Outlaw Radio page. We also have a sister group called the People's News Network. And it's like my own personal Black CNN, right? It's my own BET, right? Since BET is owned by the others now. That's my own BET. What's in the People's News Network is just pertinent information for Black people. Any and everything that's pertaining to us and our culture, hip hop, politics, common sense. There's some wellness things in there. Look at this is Ewok in the chat room early. What up, my brother? Ewok said, "Walks world." So what the People's Network has also become, the People's News Network has also become over the years is so many different platforms are presented. And initially, when I started the group probably about 8 years ago, it was kind of about Outlaw Radio only. And at the time, what we did with Chocolate City. And then I started to notice, well, more people started to have platforms. And there's a brother in there by the name of Brandon Hughes, I believe. He shares everybody's platform. Everybody. So if it's somebody who's Black or speaking to us or speaking to our culture and all of that, he puts them in there. I could have been a hater. I could have been a hater and said, "No, take that out." But I felt like it was some place. There had to be some space where all of our voices collectively as podcasters or internet radio hosts or content creators, influencers, whatever you call it. I felt like there needed to be a space that welcomed us and what we do. So it just turned into a thing. So now when you go to the People's News Network, you might see it's some everything in there. Go join the group. Go and join the group. Brenda Peterson. Hey, Kev, how you doing, Brenda? How you doing? Welcome to the show. It's Outlaw Radio. Good enough. Good enough. Good enough. As usual, there's a lot going on in politics in America. I know that here in Milwaukee, we just had this, I can now say it, cataclysmic flood, the 1,000-year flood. And we're still picking up the pieces from this flood. Like there's still streets that are blocked off. There's still some very dangerous areas that you don't want to drive in. People have lost. We see now piles of discarded materials up and down A Street. People have lost in this flood. Thank God once again that there's not a tremendous loss of life, but people have lost from the flood. So I want anybody who, if you don't know where you can get resources from, you can call in tonight. You can put it in the chat room and ask for different services. We should be able to connect you with whatever it is that you need. The city admirably has stepped up, and DPW workers are putting in extra hours. Of course, that means their checks are going to be bigger, right? So, yeah, big, right. So, there is people who are in the community doing like really working to assist you too. I've seen several brothers saying they will come and clean your basement out and help you get rid of the water for free. So there's that. So please, if you are in need, and you have to understand, even if you get the water out, and I'm saying this because there may be people who lived in places where they don't own it. So maybe they had to call a landlord or wait on a landlord and sit there until they come and do the repairs. Well, if they just come and get the water, that's not enough. There's a specific cleaning process that has to happen after that because of the threat of mold and stuff like that within your property. So be aware, right? If you got a landlord and he or she didn't come and thoroughly clean your joint right, call the city. Call the city. Tell them what's going on. Because a person shouldn't play with your life. And if you got to sleep in this house and it's all kinds of mold and all kinds of toxic dust and stuff in the air. So there's resources. There's resources. Don't sit on your hands, right? And be careful. You know, you see some water, you think I'm just gonna run through it. It might be deeper than you think, right? And I know a lot of people like to go and I want to go see one of these rivers that flooded. That's just super dangerous. It's dangerous. Go out there and get swept away. Chat room popping. Erica Hunt said, "What up?" She said Outlanders at first, but then she said Outlaws. She said she can't text today. Being Gallego, how you doing, my brother? How you doing? He said real spit. I'm just glad that the finger pointing of whose fault it was, because we had a lot of ghetto biologists. A lot of ghetto biologists come out and say, you know, the garbage and black people, you be shaming yourself. You done flooded the whole damn city. It's not true. This was, like I said, a cataclysmic event, man. So many natural occurrences coexisted at one point in this, man. Record rainfall, 14.5 inches of rain in 30 to 45 minutes in one place in particular on the northwest side of Milwaukee. Crazy business. Serena Lynette, how you doing, Serena? How you doing? Y'all, please share the show. It's Outlaw Radio. Good enough. I want to talk about what's good enough tonight. You know, Wednesdays are more thematic, right? Like we try to have a theme and we try to speak around it. And of course, the conversation transitions into other topics. But like on Mondays, it's more loose. It's Messy Monday. So it's Outlaw Radio live on Mondays. So there's no telling what you might hear. It ain't no telling what you might hear tonight. But this is a little bit more structured than Messy Mondays, Outlaw Radio live. But yeah, you know, I'm still seeing things on the news. Actually, the very line is itself to the drop-off spots, like the lines of people with truckloads of trash and basically, you know, discarded materials, things that have been damaged via this flood. It was crazy. And I seen someone put on Facebook their neighborhood, because the city's also doing pickups. They're doing more pickups. So you can put your stuff on the curb or by the trash, wherever your trash is, by the curb. But where I live, maybe it's in the alley. I would hope that would be a horrible thing, because alleys are already fucked up, right? So most alleys, especially in the hood. So I hope that they're letting them put it at the curb too. But this person showed, it was a nice neighborhood. Everybody on the block had at least 2 stacks of trash. And, you know, one of the most tragic, criminal situations that comes out of this is people who thought they had flood coverage in their insurance policies find out after the fact that they didn't have it. And some who had flood coverage found out that they didn't have sewage coverage. You know, they're not covered for the sewage overflooding. That's many. That is absolutely crazy. And shame on the insurance industry. I said this a lot of times anyways. Insurance, the way it's structured in America, is a big ass scam anyways. I mean, if you can pay, say I got insurance on my home and I stay with the same company and I got insurance for 20 years. I've been paying every month, 20 years. When something happens, I still, in most cases, unless you got some really good insurance, gotta pay a deductible. That is dumb. I've been paying to what have I been paying for? And then they still give you a hard time with paying you for whatever your loss is. That needs to be regulated. The insurance industry needs to be regulated. Car insurance, especially. I understand the need for car insurance, but like if you don't have an accident, and I know, you know, some plans, we reward you if you're a good driver. No, they don't. No, they don't. You know, unless you know something I don't know about car insurance, auto insurance, please let me know. That's what the purpose of the show is. But man, God bless those people who have lost. And, you know, I look around, my studio is in my basement. And I have a bunch of shit down here. Valuable shit. And if it was just underwater, I would be totally lost. Especially if they said the insurance doesn't cover it. I'd be ready to, what was John Q? Was that Denzel when he couldn't get no insurance? He couldn't get his boy. They wouldn't help his boy. He took the hospital over. You know, some people might say Mario Mangione. What's his name? Mangini? What was his name? Mario brother, whatever his name was, who shot the insurance executive. Yeah, insurance screws you over, man. It's crazy. And it's specifically, there should be some sort of, I don't know, legal action that you can take against the industry for telling people, okay, you have flood insurance, but then saying, well, we're not going to cover it because this wasn't a natural flood. It was from your sewer. Well, unless it was goddamn 7-Up coming out the sewer, this shit was natural. Right? It's crazy, crazy, crazy semantics. 262-202-5131. It's Outlaw Radio on a Wednesday night. Good enough. Good enough. Good enough. Why is it good enough? First, I'm going to be honest with y'all. I wonder, based on some conversations that I see on Facebook and some comments made by a lot of women, what is good enough? What can a man in nowadays in modern society, what can he do that a woman will say that is good enough? I swear, every day it seems like women, and I know it's not all y'all, so please, if this, you know, hit dog holler. So if this doesn't apply to you, you know, keep it moving. I ain't no big deal, but it seems to be a very popular, and once I see one sister make a comment, I see the comment sections goes crazy. Right? What's good enough? Does he have to look good? Does he have to have money? Does he have to be sensitive? Should he be emotional? Should he be subservient, or should he be a leader? Should he be passive? Should he be soft-spoken? Should he be hardcore? Should he be gangster? Should he be a nerd? I'm confused, women. What is good enough? I said, women, listen, all day. And I know it's social media. It's social media, Kev. It's just social media. Yeah, but where there's smoke, there's fire. I think we might have a little disillusionment out here for sisters and women in general. I think they may be a little disillusioned.
Delusional.
Right. So that's just the tip of good enough. That's why I call the show Good Enough tonight, and we'll talk about it. Witch Doctor, what's popping with you, man? How you doing tonight?
Hey, man, I'm good. I think I get where you're going at with the conversation already. You know, a lot of women say they want a leader, but women don't know how to listen to men. Like a lot of women nowadays, they got a problem listening to men. So how can you want a leader if you don't want to do what nobody tell you to do? You know what I mean? They say they want a man that care about them, that's protective over them. You know what I'm saying? But again, you got a lot of women who don't listen to a man. A lot of the ways that we protect women is by telling them where they shouldn't go, or how they should or shouldn't dress, because other men gonna take it a certain type of way or whatever. So, you know what I mean? We protect women also by telling them what to do, our women, and as well as us. You know what I mean? They protect us the same way. We do it for our kids. We tell our kids, look both ways before you cross into that street, because we know a car may come up with them if they don't. You know what I'm saying? So in the same sense, we talk to our women and we tell them why they shouldn't do stuff. And that's a form of protection. Like you say, it's a delusional problem going on out here, a disillusion problem going on where women say they want something, but they really don't. You say you want a man that can tell you, like, okay, you got a man that's going to tell you, hey, you shouldn't go here, you shouldn't go there. Well, now he controlling. You got all kind of names for him. Or you got talk shit about men or whatever, and as soon as a man say something back that go against what they say, now he's sassy because he talking back. You know what I'm saying? Instead of standing his ground, standing firm on his shit. You know what I mean? You rather call him sassy, call him gay and all kind of shit. You know what I mean? He got women attributes. But you right, man. There's a lot of disillusion going on out here.
I wonder, do women really take into account that they are indeed emotional? And that means their opinions vary from time to time on certain things. Like literally your opinion, women, your opinion may change from the first to the fifth simply because you may be in a situation where biologically everything is haywire. And I'm speaking in terms of menstruation and menstrual cycles, right? Like women get an excuse to be, for all intents and purposes, a bitch. And she can say, well, I was on my period. Everything was, my hormones was off. I couldn't taste food. Like, you don't understand what it's like to have to deal with a menstrual cycle. And I'm like, you're right. Right. And so I'm just like, all right, that's okay. You dealing with the burden of womanhood, right? That's what's up. But at least take into account that sometimes I be on some bullshit. I mean, it's like they act as if they're perfect. Not all of y'all. I want to make that clear. If you are a sister out there that's like, look, I don't even move like that. That's fine. I'm not speaking to you at all. But maybe you're a sister out there who does be on bullshit sometimes like this and won't admit it, which makes it worse, right? So when I say good enough, how do they feel they should treat us? What's good enough for us? What's good? How can she be good enough for her man? Or am I saying good enough wrong? Am I using that wrong? Because there's a constant, consistent battle of the sexes when we talk about social media, and believe me, a lot of this, if you sit men and women down together, this is how they'll talk about each other. Like and I said women are disillusioned because I feel like not all of y'all, but I feel like a lot of women are mixed up. And also believe misery loves company. So I think when some sisters do got it right, when they are moving right, when they're doing what they should do, especially in their relationship with their man, here come old hater ass friend or cousin or sister or even mama.
Old hater ass single friend.
Right. And she got all kinds of advice and ain't never had a man. Couldn't keep one for father. And it's always that men are trash. See, men ain't shit. That's why I ain't got no man. That's not why you don't have a man. It's not.
I don't want one. Right. I don't want one.
And she don't want you to have one either. She don't want you to have one either. I wish, know. And so it just gets, I see it on and I don't comment on Facebook posts. You notice you never see me really like get into debates on Facebook. I don't, that's not really what I do, but I see who's always speaking. I see who always has a complaint. I see who's barking the loudest. And I'm not going to lie, most of the women with the loudest mouths have no man. That's all. What a coincidence. And
most of the women that's in, most of the women that's in all
loudmouth, I mean, she's the one who has the most to say. That's what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah. Most of the women that got all the shit to talk, you know what I'm saying? They be single.
Yeah.
Who always debating a man should be this, a man should be that. They always single. Trying to talk about what a man should be, how you should act towards men. You know what I mean? They always fucking single.
the flip side of this, for a brother like myself or like Kamar, like a lot of other brothers who are on solid ground in terms of their understanding. Not saying we're perfect or saints or anything like that. I'm saying men who are not the man that these women are talking about. So if I got a partner who at our age has no woman, and he comes to me and he's talking about relationships and women, I take into account that he doesn't have a woman himself. You understand what I'm saying? So all of his advice is taken with a grain of salt. And if it comes down to us really talking about what has happened to him in his past relationships, there's a pattern too, where it's like, well, you had such and such and such, but you remember you da-da-da-da. Yeah, man, I know, but but remember you was with old girl. Yeah. I know, brother, but man. So you got to take that into account. Like, research the researcher. But I think a lot of times with that, we don't call that the evil friend. I think what she's able to do is play into the other woman's insecurities, right? Like, she'll hit her with some shit, like a trigger word, like, you sure he's straight? Yeah, girl, he wouldn't step out on me. Okay, girl. I know some people who know some people. She might not know a goddamn person. As a woman, you got to be smart enough to say, well, man, if you don't shut your lonely ass up, let me go to my chat room. Brenda Peterson said, bingo. Judy Waddington said, well, hello. How y'all doing? Brenda Peterson says, I was going to ask if this is married or single women. You know what? It's a mixture. It's a witch's brew of women who are unhappily married and single women, and women who are no longer married, probably divorced or been in a long-term relationship, who are themselves now single, and they all just let it flow. But if it depends on who's really the most man-haterish. That's what it looks like a lot of times. The motherfucker just put a random post up like, yeah, niggas ain't shit. All they can do is eat coochie and smoke weed. And it'd be like 50 comments. Go ahead, girl, you right. Like, huh?
And then their next post is, I need somebody to come shovel my snow. You niggas ain't shit. Niggas want some pussy, but don't want to shovel nobody's snow.
Or don't want to pay for nothing. That's the biggest complaint. I'm gonna tell you, most men really are going to try and avoid paying for it. I mean, directly. I mean, a real man, if he like you, he's going to, the indirect, you take you out to eat, you go to movies, sometimes you get a gift here and there, what. But if it's like, well, just give me $50 and let's do the transaction, that would require that you leave quietly. If I paid you after it was over, directly. My daddy used to tell me, you don't pay a prostitute for sex, you pay her to leave. Wow. That's what he used to always tell me. So I used to be like, I was 8. I didn't know what he was talking about, but I figured it out, Kamar. Ewok is in the chat. He said, just like my bitches, I keep them broke. They wake up one day with some money, they bound to go crazy. Yeah, we seen the Mac. That's cute. That's cute to say, right? I mean, it's, but I'm just being realistic. As if you are a pimp out there, shout out to you. I'm not a pimp. I'm not a pimp. I don't have a pimp bone in my body. Allegedly. Mama Jenkins said, good evening, my Outlaw family. I drove around today and people have lost a lot of stuff. My mother told us don't put cardboard on the floor, so we have a lot of tubs on the floor. As far as what a woman wants from a man is respect, but she has to give it also, and meeting in the middle. A couple needs communication and kind words. A lot of women love to make excuses for being selfish and foolish. That is a very interesting comment, because I just said, I wonder, do women take into account, because I know you have a lot of complaints about your man. This motherfucker pissed on the floor. Dude, can he aim? Right? He left his shoes in the floor. Like, he farted while he was asleep and the room was stinking. But almost 2 weeks out of every month, a man has got to deal with hell in a handbasket. Maybe not all, y'all. Shout out to the women who can handle it. But every man know when to get away from his woman when she's going through that thing. Every man knows. And so that's a task. So, I mean, women's that come with me. Well, so do him missing the toilet sometimes. So do him farting at night. Like, this is all the shit that comes with the person who you chose.
Hey, you know what? It didn't be that too, Dev. Like how people just, I am the way I am. You accept me the way I am and all that shit. That's bullshit.
But you won't
That's
accept
why you
another
single
person.
too. You
I'm
know what
not,
I
and
mean?
I'm
Like,
not. I'm not here to shame single women. I want that to be known too. I'm not talking down because a woman, it's a new age. So there are some women who choose. I don't really want to get involved in a relationship right now for whatever reason, and they'll say, you know, I've been through some relationships. I'm dealing with some hurt. I'm trying to get myself together. So it's just not a knock to say if you single, it's because you can't get a man. But if you a single hater,
we're talking about the man bashing single people,
right? So if you a single woman hater, we talking about you,
right.
Erica Hunt got the question marks up. Okay, Earl Henning said they don't want to obey the man. He said it's still $40, Kev. I wouldn't know. He said it's still $40. Earl Henning. And listen, I don't want this to go down because I'm not Kevin Samuel. I didn't really agree with a lot of the stuff that Kevin Samuel said about this high value, low value, da. I wasn't, a lot of brothers were saying nah, and to this day they revere him because I think there was some truth to some of the stuff he said, but the way it was delivered for me was just like Charleston White. I looked at him almost like Charleston White.
Like the delivery was. Oh no, we can't say it's just like Charleston White. He's a lot better than Charleston. Like I gotta give him that. You know what I'm saying? Because like all he was doing was putting shit into perspective. He asked women questions about the type of man they want. You know what I'm saying? And then he break it down and put it into perspective. Okay, well, what's the percentage of men you're gonna find them 100,000 a year?
Okay.
What's the percentage of them you think that? You know what I mean? So like he was telling women like you really have to look at what you're working with. Cause like a lot of women was on there and they didn't even know where to find no $100,000 nigga. But you want $100,000 nigga. You in Regal Beagle on Fifth and Cherry and shit.
Not the Regal
Beagle.
Not Fifth and Cherry.
That was hey, that was. You know what I mean? So that was the basis of what he used to go on. Like you don't even know how to find that part. So how can you say this is what you supposed to get? You know what I mean? Why would you think you would want that?
Shout out to anybody who lives on Fifth and Cherry, right? Love, peace and love to you. Ewok is the one who said it's still $40, Kev. But okay, so and once again, I don't want our conversation to come off like some of the ones that I see online. And maybe it's just women having fun. Okay. You can't take it too serious, but I still think that this is the attitude of a lot of women. And the sad part is a lot of these women have children, in particular, young boys. You know what I'm saying? And so these young men are kind of soaking up some toxicity. So most of them end up with problematic relationships when they get older. Right? Yeah. They become products of their environment, and that's where it becomes damaging, and vice versa for any man who behaves this way. And I see men who put shit up, but I feel like when men say certain shit, it's for laughs. I don't because
we don't really take that shit serious.
No, it's like nah, right? Like when Ernest just said, "Yeah, I like my bitches," and he quoted the Mac. Yeah, that was cool.
We put some logic to it, you know what I mean? But the shit still be funny.
It was cool what he said, but I'm not gonna turn into Goldie because he said it.
Right.
You know. That ain't gonna be my next live where I'm like, yeah, you understand me? You gotta take a hoe, you dig, and put the bitch on the block, you know what I'm saying, and check some bread from nigga, no. That ain't. And I'm not gonna do that for clicks and likes. So calm down, sisters. Calm down, y'all. It's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right. You listen, be able to tell your friend, I almost said fat hater friend, but they ain't all fat. Be able to tell your bitter hater friend, like, it's all good, girl. I got this. I appreciate you having my back. And if I need you, I'll reach out. But don't just come home with, she said. Because the first thing a dude gonna say is, oh shit, here we go with this bullshit. Now when he see her, it's gonna be some cold coffee. I can't stand this. I done seen it before. And she get right. And y'all better be careful because a lot of times the hater wants your man. She wants him.
Yep.
He done sucked and gave that man some hoochie coochie behind the scenes, and you
I
don't
watched
even
the
know.
video. I just watched the video, and it was this super old lady, like not super old, but she may have been like 80 or 90 something, right? And she was talking to her granddaughter. She told her granddaughter, "Don't tell your friends nothing about your man. Don't tell them nothing good, and don't tell them nothing bad. Don't tell them nothing about your man." She
It's
said
not her
it just
business.
like that. Hey, look, and then sat back. You know what I'm saying? That was some real ass shit.
It's nobody's
That
business.
circle right back to what we beginning. You know what I'm saying? About how it usually be them outside friends that's the influence.
I
Start talking about your man, you know what I mean? Talking about what's bad. Now they talk them. You don't need them.
It turns into just it. We're gonna get to the toxicity and how it flows. Ewok, you in the chat? I mean, on the banger. What's up?
Yeah, man. I was just, straight some shit up, man. I just, type that shit, for a giggle or two. I ain't got no hoes and shit, and it ain't got nothing to do with that, shits and giggles and shit every once in a while. But
what? You ain't got no hoes, nigga.
It's real talk. I wanted to understand how come you didn't. You said you didn't really like Kevin Samuel. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't agree with everything he said neither, but they set themselves up for everything that he was trying to say. You know what I'm saying? Everything that he did, they walked right into the trap. You know what I'm saying? They walked right into the trap, wanting this fairy tale mystery ass nigga to come save them. You know what I'm saying? All of them. It's crazy. And I'm saying all of them. I know it's not all of them, but most of them think that they really be deserving this knight in shining armor and shit that's gonna come get them. Even if they got 6, 7, 8 baby daddies and all of that shit. You know what I'm saying? So the man was only trying to tell them what reality was. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? To step out of this disbelief system. You dig?
When I say I didn't like him, I'm gonna tell you why. Because he had become this phenomena, and I, once again, appearance wise, and his presentation was really smooth. The brother was well dressed. He was always groomed. He was articulate. He was speaking very, he obviously was an intelligent brother. But when I heard him talking to another brother about the size of his penis, like he's asking him, like he's basically taking this brother was delusional as well, and he was saying he wanted this woman who made all this money and who's so fine and who's so freaking, so he asked him his height, he asked him his weight, he asked him how much money he makes a year, and then he got down to saying, "Do you have a big dick?" And this dude is like, "Well, I think it's," and it's like, once that conversation happened, I turned off the radio and I never tuned back in, because that to me is doing too much. And but if you go on Jerry Springer, if you go on the Jerry Springer show and you get into a fight, it's because you went on the Jerry Springer show. That's what happens.
I don't consider it doing too much though, Kev, because he gave that man the same energy that he was giving the females. He was telling dude, like, well, you know what I'm saying, you don't get what the fuck you think you deserve. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, his message for that nigga.
Who appointed one man in charge of saying whether or not another man's penis is big enough to satisfy a woman?
Nobody.
Okay, so it's doing too much.
Okay. What the thing is, though,
let me turn the finger towards you. If I'm talking to you, I don't care if we on the air or not. Ewok, we could be having a personal conversation and we get to talking, right? And we're talking about women and we're talking about how to please a woman. And I say, Ewok, how tall is you? And you be like, man, I'm 6'2". How much you weigh? I weigh 210, okay. You how much money you make a year? And you like, okay, where Kev going with this? And then after all this, I say, you got a big dick. What you gonna say?
Nah,
no, I think the context was a little different than that, man. You know how? Hey, look, he talked to women
all the way down the wrong fucking rabbit hole, man, with that bullshit. But I'm just saying, he gave that one dude the same energy he was giving the bitches. That's the point I was trying to make.
Go ahead, Kamar. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Kamar.
He led up to that. he led up to that the same way when women, he be leading up to it. When women be talking, they be talking about, well, I'm fine, I'm me. That's why, because I'm the best. My sex is the best.
I just led up to it too. I just literally led up to it. Right?
No, you did it in you articulated it real well and said that you know what I'm saying, you portrayed it real well, but that's not that's bullshit what you just that's bullshit what you just did and you know it.
Let me ask you. Let's just say we playing devil's advocate, right? Instead of Messy Monday is Wild Wednesdays, right? Wild Out Wednesday, right? Would you would you continue the conversation, or would you be like, say, man, fuck you on? Like, would you say, I guess it's okay, Kev, I got about 7 inches. Would you answer it?
Hell no.
Okay.
That's sucker fault for being on the line asking him a question, though. You know what I'm saying? That's his fault for letting Kevin Samuels lead him down that damn road.
Kevin Samuels asked about the penis. That man didn't call in and say, hey, man, I got a 9-inch schlong, man. Why can't I keep a woman? He didn't even know he was going to be asked that.
He asked it for a reason.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he showed
asked it for a reason.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
He
Not
must
because
want to see it.
He asked him because the nigga didn't have nothing. He only made $500 every 2 weeks and all of that shit. You know what I'm saying? So he was like, that's all you got, nigga? What the fuck do you think you deserve somebody for? You ain't got nothing.
Well, who's to say if you do got a small penis, you can still satisfy a woman with a small penis. So he don't know. He don't know how that man. He don't know how that man. He did that. He right after that and said, and you expect her? You ain't doing nothing with that. You right? That was his point, is that you can't please her physically. You don't know, that man might be a rock star. You don't know. So hold on, let me get the chat room, y'all. Let me get the chat room.
All right,
I'm on some bullshit. I know I'm on some bullshit. Let me get the chat room.
Yeah, you is, man. You is.
Hey, or maybe he was asking that because the nigga was broke. So he like, you got to be one or the other, rich or something. Nigga, you got to have a big dick.
There had to be a point here.
So maybe he's talking to the nigga like, broke, man. How you gonna get that kind of woman? You know what I'm saying? You must got a big dick or something, thinking you finna get a woman and like.
Even if you say it to me that way, I'm still like, what? You doing too much, bro. Like, there should be no references about what's in my pants when I'm talking to another man. No references. I'm talking about not a one. If you even, Kev, man, your pants kind of tight. I can see your balls. What? No, you got to get the fuck out of my car, man.
I think the context be different when you're talking about therapists and shit. Because dog is a therapist.
Was he a licensed therapist? Was he?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I don't know about his accolades.
That's what he do. You know what I mean? That's what he do. And then he just started doing it. He started recording the shit.
Beauty Waddington in the chat room saying, great conversation, but it starts at home. And when people don't have respect for the purpose of what is family and how many, we can forget about the traditional nuclear family. That's a thing of the past. And simply because the dynamics between men and women have changed. So this is no longer a situation where the man goes out and he does everything for the family and the woman takes care of the house. And that's normally why the men died way before their wives.
Hey, and that was
his ass done worked for 40 years in the founder. And when he died, she got all his insurance money and everything else.
That's another point.
So
that's another point
what you say, Kamar?
Kevin Samuels used to make too. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the time, those women, they was trying to be focused. They always would say, well, I've been focused on my career. I've been doing this and doing that, trying to better myself or whatever. But his point is, but you don't want to be a wife. You know what I mean? Women nowadays, they don't want to be a wife. They just want to be married. It's a difference. You know what I'm saying? Like a wife.
Maybe I should have tuned in again.
They don't want to be the helpmate. They don't want to be the
maybe
wife.
I should have tuned in again.
Huh?
I should have tuned in again.
No,
Maybe I should have tuned in again because I completely cut him off after that. I never listened to him again. Let me finish the chat. Beauty says my words are coming through halfway. I understood what you said perfectly. Erica Hunt said, after what happened to me, I'm scared of the men. That's a red flag if you're scared of the man off top. If you have a natural, because I've been through some situations, I get nervous around men in general. Now, you really need to deal with men that are very understanding and patient and can be kind of nurturing towards you. And I'm not trying to give out relationship advice. I'm just saying, because a cat with, like, somebody who's just straight up and down, he's not gonna pay for what the next man did. So if you're around me and you acting real fidgety and you real like, I just get nervous because I'm gonna be like, man, look, okay, well, I'm cool. Yeah, I can't really deal with you because I'm not built to
real.
handle.
That mean I'm gonna be real. That means you don't need to be in a relationship right now.
Ooh, that might be a good point.
Hey, Kev, can I jump in?
You know what I mean? Because you're scared. Because I'm gonna give you the logic to it because you're scared of it, right? And if you're thinking about different stuff that you're scared of, a lot of the time, man, you're gonna talk some bullshit into your own head. You know what I'm saying? You'll talk some bullshit into your own head. You start making shit up. You're scared because you worried that the same shit gonna happen that happened last time. You know what I mean? And usually when you think about stuff, where your focus goes, energy flows. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say you really don't need to be in a relationship if that's how you feel. If you're scared of men, you don't need to be in a relationship.
Work on yourself.
Yeah.
Ewok, what was you trying to drop?
Yeah. I was going to drop this. You know what I'm saying? The man, his show is all about women seeking a high value man. You know what I'm saying? So you have to add that into the equation and why he says what he says to these females. You know what I'm saying? These females be having 6 baby daddies and still think that they can find them a high value man, and they delusional as fucking shit. You know what I'm saying?
In their mind, high value
man. Go ahead, K-Boy. Go ahead, finish. Go ahead.
Say I was agreeing with you.
I'm gonna let you go ahead.
In their mind,
they think. Yeah, go ahead, K-Boy.
I was agreeing with you. I was saying in their mind. Well, there we go again. You carry on.
Yeah, while he's joking, now I say it. You know, so his conversation is to these females who think that they can have 5 baby daddies and shit and still get a high value man that make 300.
Well, wait a minute. Now,
he usually
nail him with this though. That don't
yes, it does.
How does it diminish your value?
Look, he usually nail them on their ideal.
Because what man want that? What man want to take on that?
Hey, he usually nail them on their ideal of a high value man. Like, what is a high value man to you? You know what I mean? Like, usually be all fucked up, and they be wrong. They think a rich nigga is a high value man in their mind. So, I mean, so he started nailing them right there, man. Like, you really have to watch him. You know what I'm saying?
Well, for all as deep as he was and as smart as he was, he died after giving up $40 and getting some gas station Viagra. So that further diminishes his validity in my eyes. You wasn't living.
Well, that just means you ain't helping.
You sound like you on some women's lib shit.
I was just finna say,
like you on some women's lib shit.
Let me say this. This is my opinion. So don't shoot the messenger. It's my opinion. The opinions expressed on Outlaw Radio are solely those of the motherfucker that said it. Know who to be mad at. I'm saying you're giving out information telling people how they should or shouldn't be, but then you're engaging in something you should or shouldn't be doing, and you lose your life doing it. Like you die in a snooty fox with a hooker, with a young hooker, and you bought some gas station Viagra.
Well, that's like getting mad at Diddy. That's like everybody getting mad at Diddy then. Like now we in this looking at his sex life.
But Diddy ain't died with a bottle of baby oil in a cheap hotel.
But we're judging him off his sex life.
And plus, Diddy ain't trying to. We knew he wasn't trying to get nobody no advice.
We're judging him off his life.
That's how. If you hear what I just said, I said his what he did was give people advice. He's supposed to be a therapist. You just said he was a therapist.
Right.
So what he does is he tells people the right path to be on. That's not Diddy. Diddy was a purveyor of porn and corruption. So I think you can't compare those two. But let me finish.
I just told you how I compared them. Well, I just told you how I compared them. That's why I kept saying it.
Right. That's why I don't agree with it. That's my point.
Okay,
I don't agree with it.
If we was judging Diddy off his sex life,
I'm not judging him off his sex life.
His sex life now.
I'm not judging him off his sex life. I'm talking about how he actually died after giving the advice and instruction and representation that he did.
Well,
That's
my
my opinion.
Your opinion.
He had a heart attack. Maybe he had a pre-existing condition and shit.
Yeah,
you know
he
what I'm saying? He was getting him some pussy. So what? He got him some pussy. So what? He was a bachelor. God damn it. You gonna condemn the man because
he was said that's the way you go out.
You gonna condemn the man because he got him some pussy?
Once again, y'all trying to treat me like Ari Spears. I didn't condemn him. I just said, to me, it's a strike against. It's like Diddy beating Cassie will always be a strike against him to me. Nothing that he does has validity because of that. So I'm saying, yeah, you gave all this good advice, but then you at least get some prescription Viagra. You were supposed to be a high value man. Now this is Beauty. She's saying, and I don't even know for it. Let me tell you, I don't know for a fact he had gas station Viagra. I threw that out there because that's what I heard. A good man is generally someone who embodies positive traits and behaviors, demonstrating integrity, kindness, and responsibility in his actions and relationships. That's a nice definition. That's a good definition of a good man. But what do you think positive is? Sometimes it's the beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Some women like what's positive? It's positive that he will knock a motherfucker out in the club for trying to holler at me. Girl, he loved me. You see what I'm saying? Like, perception gets warped. Like, what can a woman tell a man about being a good man? Only thing she can tell him is if he's being. Only thing she can tell him is if he's being good to her. She can't say whether he's a good man or a bad man. She can only say, you're good for me. You good to me. But that broad, wide blanket statement of what a good man is, I think sometimes it's macro so much and it's not micro. I think maybe we need to get to micro.
95% of the women that he was speaking to, 95%, they were all delusional. And he was trying to get them out of their delusion. They thought that they could actually have a fairy tale ass motherfucking thing. You know what I'm saying?
I can't even believe we still talking about him because he's been gone and this my show. So we don't even need to talk about him no more.
You just got done talking about him, didn't you?
I was talking about women. I'm talking about the women. I'm done. I'm over Kevin Samuels. Whatever. I understand. Look, I just said there's a lot of people who revere him. I've seen brothers put up clips and say, this is the Godfather. This was the OG right here. This man was spitting, dropping jewels. So I understand why people say, no, Kev, you off base. I started this out by saying I was done with him when he talked to the man about what was in his drawers. He was a cartoon character after that to me.
Okay, you told you don't like that gay chick. You know what I'm saying? Once he did that fucked the whole mentality up. That's you though. But some of us kept them jewels that he was dropping.
I can tell because you motherfuckers ready to throw him behind this shit. I can tell. You and Kamar, like we jumping this nigga when we see him.
No.
Kamar done went off on me and said, fuck you, Kev. You judging for a sex life. Now you talking about Kev, you a hypocrite. Fuck it then, man. Everybody just agree with everything. Take a shot at me.
I don't agree with everything that man said. I don't agree with anything that no man say. I'm a man myself.
Who was this YouTube? Jay, he said, you want a traditional woman, get you a passport. And go where? Where? Keep in mind, traditional means you're going to have to take care of her, right? Ain't that what that means? I don't need another bill. Are we talking about Africa? What we talking about? Puerto Rico? Where are we going with our passport to find this woman?
Well, his point was he ain't talking about no regular nigga. You know what I'm saying? That's what I need you to understand. He's talking about the women who want
a high value man that makes
damn near $300,000 a year.
We're talking about what Jay just said, Ernest. We talking about what Jay just said in the chat room. He just had a comment about.
Okay, my bad.
You want a traditional woman, get you a passport, and I said, go where? Where we going once we get the passport? Beauty said, honesty and trustworthiness. A good man tells the truth and can be relied upon. Okay. It all sounds good. Erica Hunt said, no, I don't want to be in a relationship, but there's a part of me that wants to be protected by a black man. Whew. Just protected? I mean,
part of you that want to be in a relationship.
Say that again. You was breaking up, Kamar.
I said there's a part of you that want to be in a relationship because you can't depend on, you can't Like these days, women can't be out here depending on men to protect them that they don't know. You know what I mean? Because the men that you don't know, they got families that they got to protect. They got mothers, sisters, cousins, women who they been known to protect. You know what I mean? And what I've been seeing lately out here, now that we talking about this different type of stuff, you know what I mean? Like a lot of women don't even want to be protected like that. I broke a fight up. A brother and a sister pulled over in my car, broke the fight up. The nigga acted like he had a pistol at first. You know what I'm saying? And when I did get him to calm down and walk away from the girl, she gonna run and jump on his back. Like, come on, man. Here I am trying to protect you. You know what I'm saying? And you do this type of shit.
Ghetto love.
I mean, so you know what I mean? When they talk about men protecting women, that's what it is. They talk about men protecting their women. They family.
I was just going to ask that, Kamar. When you say,
look, because see, a lot of women, a lot of single women. Hey, check this out, Kev. A lot of single women saying that married women need their husbands to home. They don't need their husbands out their lives for women that they don't even know.
So that was my question. What when they say protection? What are we? Because I guess I'm assuming it's more than just physical threat, right? Protect me, but which could mean emotionally. Like, don't put me in situations that don't compromise me or things that trigger me. Understand me, protect me in that fashion, or financially protect me. Like, we don't know what
situation. I got another situation. I'm at the Sherman Phoenix one day, right? There's different vendors in there, and this one lady was vending, and she had one of them skirts that was high. This is the first time I ever seen the shit, right? And her booty was out the bottom of the skirt. And she walked past my store, and I kind of leaned over and I whispered to her, like, hey, I don't know if you know it or not, but your skirt is, you know what I mean, it's small, it's showing. And she was like, oh, I know. Like, well, this is me protecting you, you know what I mean, by telling you about this, because I know it's other men in this motherfucker, you know what I'm saying, that be clowning. They don't even want it. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, that's why I say, like, single women, y'all got to start forgetting about expecting men to protect you, because you don't even know how they trying to protect you. You got people out there protecting you, don't even know it, because you don't
Erica,
want
I'd like to know what she meant by, she said it, so I like to know what she meant by protection. Beauty says self-awareness. He understands his strengths and weaknesses and strives to improve himself. The more you give this description, the more you are describing a man who is perfectly put together and assembled, and he does not exist. Like, you can have 7 out of 10 good qualities. If you got all 10, somebody lying. It's either you or your mate.
Nigga, that's a movie.
That is the part of the relationship that's the part of the relationship where the two have to coexist in order to better each other. And I'm not trying to be corny or no shit like that. What I'm saying is that's the yin and the yang, right? So it's like, I may be working on, because it took me a long time to develop any kind of sensitivity or real emotion. Like, I mean, the love was there, but I'm not Wanye Morris from Boys to Men. And so I might say some shit, some straight up man shit. And I had to learn, but I was weak in that area, right? So that's what the purpose of the relationship is to grow together. It ain't two complete finished products that get together. Usually it's two people who get together and develop together. Hold on, Ernest. Let me get the rest of this chat room before I get backed up.
That's how it works right here.
She said men have made men believe being gentle and patient. No, it's simping. Oh, no, that's not it. That's not it. That ain't what, no, that's not. It ain't about being gentle and patient. It's about being a simp. It's about being a sucker.
Getting ran over on. Being a simp is being ran over and going back for more.
I love my baby mama. I never let her go.
That's what a simp
is. Beauty said, she said, so get a good group of guys and see what happens in the city of Milwaukee and start it today and see what comes out of it. I mean, all my partners is good. All my partners good dudes, my real ones. They good dudes. You might not where you want to make your adjustments and tinker with him, that he might not allow that. So you might say, oh no, girl, he was just like the rest. But they good dudes. They're gonna work, they're gonna take care of their responsibilities, they're gonna be honest to a certain extent, and they're gonna have integrity. Who is this? She said, what type of women? Hold on, what type of women? I can't read, Kamar. What I think I'm getting old enough to get glasses.
What type of women do you want in your life, and how do you pick that type of woman? Well, I want a woman that's strong in her own right, understanding, so we can communicate right. You know what I mean? To come to the right conclusion, to come to the right idea, to follow the right path. How do I pick her? I mean, our lives got to fit. Our lives got to match. You know what I'm saying? For me,
said type. I'm gonna say this.
I
didn't really pick. That's what I was gonna say. I didn't really pick my wife. I didn't really pick her. I met her. I wasn't looking. Matter of fact, I was totally against anything of the sort, and I was enjoying life tremendously. And I met her. I wasn't like, I want this. I said, damn. When I seen it, I knew.
And that'd be the thing. That's the thing right there. You know what I'm saying? My mother always told me, don't go looking for a relationship. The right one gonna happen. Your life just gonna fit. You know what I mean? Ain't nothing you're gonna be able to do. You just gonna like it. You know what I'm saying? And that's how it is. That's how it is with my lady who I live with now. You know what I mean? It just fit.
I knew
the journey I'm on. It matched the journey she wants. You know what I'm saying?
I just knew. And I wasn't that type of dude. I wasn't like I say, I'm just saying in my mind, I knew like, okay, this is a little bit different from any woman you've ever met before. This ain't the same. Right. I didn't entertain it right away. I was just kind of like, nah, man, you tripping, bro. Shake it off. But this ain't straighten up, gangster. I was fighting. I was like this. I was like, no, I ain't going out like Willie Lump Lump. Go ahead, Ewok.
Okay. You know what I'm saying? It's nature. God created it this way. If a man didn't want none, then would none of us be born. A man's sex drive is way more powerful than a woman's sex drive by nature. You know what I'm saying? Let's start right there. Our sex drive is way more powerful than a woman's sex drive. And you know what I'm saying? We're going to do what we got to do. And we're going to do it anyway. Shut up. But shut up, man, before I kick you.
Hold on, Ewok. Let me bring somebody up. I got another call.
Uh-oh.
What?
Okay.
Okay. Women tend to seem to think. Y'all still there?
Yeah, when we be listening. Go ahead, Ewok.
Somebody else was talking.
I brought somebody else on the line. I brought somebody else on the line. Go ahead.
Okay. Sometimes women think the grass is greener on the other side of the fence. No matter what the situation, no matter what baggage that they got, they still feel like that they can do whatever and shit. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to excuse men, but I'm telling you, sometimes women ruin their own self by trying to think that they can find something else and shit, and then they find 2, 3, 4, 5 more motherfucking baby daddies. You know
oh damn! I don't want to listen to this. I called in to chat with him for a second because he asked me a question. It's your girl Erica Hunt out the comments. How y'all doing tonight?
What's going on, Erica? What's going on?
I definitely don't want to listen to nobody bash women right now. I had a life-changing event happen last month to me. And I'll just, respectfully say it was a dating experience gone bad. The third date was terrible, and it altered my life drastically. Okay. If you follow me, if you've been watching my page, if I trust you, I sent you my GoFundMe so you kind of understand what I've been through. Even practicing everything that y'all taught me, even being careful, not taking this man to my house, not doing X, Y, and Z, not being put in a situation where I'm at his house, I still was assaulted. And right now, going through therapy, I'm trying to figure out what it is I need. And I swear I wish my uncle was alive, and I wish my brother was alive, and I wish my nephew was alive, and I wish my dad was alive. So while we chatting about what is a good quality man. I don't know, but I've been craving the wisdom, affection, the intimacy, and everything from a good quality man right now. And I'm scared because there's more creeps out here than it is good men. So that's what I mean by I need some protection, because trauma will destroy you mentally regardless of how strong you are. And that's man or female.
First of all, I want to commend you for getting therapy, because the fact that you got therapy means that you recognize something's wrong. You know, as opposed to being right. That's what I'm saying. So as opposed to just being this woman who now has self-prescribed and self-medicating, that's closed herself off to men. And like you say, you get nervous when you're around men. To seek therapy for it is a step in the right direction. That was my only point.
Yeah, I knew that. After the first time happened, I tried to deny it for a long time, and it destroyed me as a human being and turned me into a monster. Try to ignore it this time and just call it a bad experience, but I was turning into a good person again, so I didn't want to become that violent, vicious, man-hating woman. You know what I'm saying?
I hope nothing I said, you know what I'm saying, triggered you. You know what I'm saying? I was only rendering my opinion. I wasn't trying to trigger nothing, you know what I'm saying? If I did, you know what I'm saying, I can explain my thoughts even further if you would like me to.
I sure don't. But I totally understand. You know, everybody got their opinion. And even though you may not attempt to trigger nobody in no type of way, but when you spread in false narratives like that, you are encouraging creeps to be more creepier.
No, you can't.
When you are expressing yourself in that way and bashing women in that way, you telling me that because I'm damaged good, I don't deserve love.
Wait, hold on. Whoa. Erica, Ewok, let me ask her specifically what you said that offended her. That's before we even blow up. Erica, what did he say that offended you?
Oh, because I got multiple baby daddies. I shouldn't strive to have love or have quality relationships with men. I shouldn't expect men to treat me as the queen that I am. I should allow them to mistreat me and expect less from anybody that I intend to date because I got multiple children and I got two baby daddies. Yeah, you did in a sense. That's when you decode that what you said. Okay, I'm gonna let you.
I think he was referencing Kevin Samuels talking to women.
Yeah, I was referencing Kevin Samuels. I didn't say that out of my mouth.
But I did. Hold on. I did say
he didn't mean you personally.
But I did say, hold on. I said the number of children that a woman has or baby daddies doesn't make her lose value. And Ewok said, yes, it does.
He did say that. But now, if I got one baby daddy, does that make me lose value? Or is it two baby daddies that make me lose value? Or is it four baby daddies? Is it five baby daddies? Is it
all of them make you lose value?
Right. So I'm supposed to be less than a woman because
it doesn't mean you have to give up. But yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that is a factor. You know what I'm saying? It really is a factor, and you have to.
How many baby mamas you got?
0. I'm 52
You ain't got no baby mamas.
I don't have
52 years old. You ain't never invested in a family.
He don't have children.
You want to tell me because I invested in my family with 2 different men that I lose value?
I'm not telling you anything. You're taking what I said like it was a direct assault. You're acting like I directly assaulted you.
No, I'm not acting like you directly assaulted.
Hey, y'all, hold on. I got another caller. Let me see if I can bring them in. And this is more messy than Mondays. This is nice. Caller, you on the line?
Hello, how are you gentlemen doing?
Oh shit, the devil is in the room. The devil is. What's up, D.I.?
I'm late, but you know what? This is my opinion, though. Now, this is how I truly feel. You know, and I'm sorry if anybody get offended, but I don't like women that have multiple children by different men. That's just, I don't know. Maybe it's because my mother, all 3 of us got different daddies or whatever. Maybe it could be some carrying over, but I just don't like women like that. And I don't like women. If you got 1 child, you know it was a struggle. You got 2, it was hard as hell. How the fuck you end up with 6 more? Now you got 8 motherfucking kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now. No, hell no. I ain't, And I do feel like, and that's true. Like, don't bite the bullet on this shit. If a person is offended, I'm sorry. That's the trauma that you're dealing with. But when you out there dating, it does make you less marketable when you have more children. A man got to deal with your kids.
Marketable.
Hold on, Erica. Hold on, Erica. Let him talk.
A man,
he don't like baby mamas because his mama was a baby mama.
Erica, you gotta let him talk though. You gotta let him talk.
Men have multiple women today.
Well, you can defend him, but you gotta let people talk. You gotta let them talk.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta get a point. You know, men have multiple children. Don't get that wrong. They do. But the children, 9 times out of 10, 90% of the time are with the women. So now you come by a woman's house. You know what I'm saying? You see 1 kid. You see 2 kids. You see 3. You like, God damn, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not saying, you know, and that's just my opinion on how I feel. It does make a man really don't want to deal with that, because if I accept you as a quote unquote say, you got to accept this motherfucking package deal, which I just feel is bullshit, because it's like bills. You had some bills before I met you. You had each one of them motherfucking kids before I met you.
Yeah, point taken. Come on, I want to make sure everybody gets to speak. Point taken. I'm with you. I hear what you're saying. I'm not saying I hear you. Come on, go ahead. You've been trying to jump in. I see you with your hand up.
Right. For me, it's 2 reasons. It's 2 reasons why I feel like that, right? Growing up, we always saw how it was like the baby mama and the baby daddy always got this close-knit bond together. You know what I mean? A lot of the time, they still dibbling, dabbling back and forth. You know, and so it'd be that. So it's like a man got to deal with the baby father, where the mamas act like they got these special bonds with. You know what I'm saying? That didn't work in the first motherfucking place. You know what I mean? So we got to deal. And then when they go to arguing because they ain't getting along, we got to be in that shit too. You know what I mean? So it's like the more kids, the more baby fathers, different baby fathers you got. You know what I mean? It make for more issues.
Oh no, I definitely get what y'all said. You should definitely pick better. Like they tell women, we should pick better.
Erica, hold on, let him finish. Erica, I'm gonna let you speak. Let him finish, and then I'll let you speak.
It don't mean that you personally. That don't mean that you personally lose value. It just means that is looking your way, especially when, like I said, we was referencing Kevin Samuels, and he was talking about $100,000, $200,000 niggas a year niggas. You know what I mean? These type of niggas don't want kind of problems. That was the just conversation. It wasn't nobody saying that you personally, the woman personally, ain't worth shit now. You know what I'm saying? No, we're just saying that less men will be checking for you, especially at that caliber.
Erica, go ahead.
So I'm gonna say this. Just like y'all done got on my ass when I generalize statements about men, I'm gonna get on y'all ass in the same way about generalizing statements about women. Just because I got 2 baby daddies and kids don't mean that I've lost value. Okay. Matter of fact, my second baby daddy, I spent 15 years with that nigga.
Okay.
So how does that decrease my value? He was actually my husband. Okay? You get what I'm saying? So when y'all generalize statements like because she got a bunch of kids, no, y'all absolutely right. It's a lot of fuck bitches, just like it's a lot of fuck niggas.
Well, hold on.
Y'all don't allow me to
you saying y'all? I didn't say that.
Apparently, she didn't even listen to me.
Erica, I didn't say that. You saying y'all? I didn't, because first of all, my thing was the question I really wanted to ask. But then give me a chance, y'all, to go to the chat room. The question I wanted to ask is: so then does that mean if a man, and I got partners who got multiple baby mamas, right? You know, 7 kids by 9 women. Type shit.
Unless women start checking, less women check for them.
You got 7 kids.
I know nobody's gonna catch that. I'm saying, does it make them? Does it decrease their value?
Same shit. It's the same.
And there's a lot of women who say, "I don't want no nigga with a bunch of kids by a bunch of bitches."
Same thing. It's the same thing.
But you know how that. So I get what you're saying about women with a whole bunch of baby daddies. Yeah, if the bitch got 7 kids and 7 baby daddies, then she's irresponsible with her coochie. Okay,
I didn't say
the same way with men. I'm saying it.
Okay,
because I tell bitches to do better.
Yeah, I've been agreeing with Erica the whole time, and she keeps saying y'all.
She all good.
Well, y'all say baby mama.
You didn't even listen to what I said.
Fuck it.
You didn't even listen to what I said.
I heard to.
And that be the problem. And that be the problem too. That's some of the problem too. Talking to some of y'all. You know what I mean? You get hung up on one thing and don't even listen to
nothing else. Y'all.
I just said it didn't take nothing from your
there you
value.
go using
I said that.
Hey, listen, let's do me this favor, y'all. Let me read these comments in the chat room. Because hold on, Erica. Let me read the chat room. Let me read the chat room, please. Let me read the chat room. They are part of this conversation as well. Beauty makes an interesting point. And once again, I agree with her. Why do women get called out of their names? I want to read it all before I answer because it's backing up. She said, why don't he exist? She's asking me a question about why the perfect man doesn't exist. Get to that. Mariah Johnson, what up, family? She said, my father taught me that a man is flawed, but makes strides to be better. Absolutely. I agree with Unc on that one. This is I'm sorry. Did I say I? Is that Jay? That's Jay, right? I'm sorry. He said these females nowadays get a baby daddy, a man for cuddling, a man for money, and she texting 30 other men at the same damn time. Holy shit. Dion said, man, I'm late. He said, I'm late in this bitch. He was just, when he was chiming in, this is him saying what's going on. Mariah says she's watching. What is Beauty saying? She said, what? And then Earl Henny said $40. Earl Henny got his 220s in his hand in the green room. Mariah Johnson said, Lord have mercy, prayers for you. She's talking about Erica going through this traumatizing situation. She said, you did trigger and hush. She said, yes, he did, because he said that they lose value. Ewok said that. I don't know if that was his personal, but he said that. Jay is laughing. Beauty said, I apologize for him. We are. This is Dre Day. What up, Dre Day? How you doing, man? He said, baby daddies are like felonies. You can get a job, but maybe not the one you want. So you get a woman, but you can't get the one you want. Beauty said, do you like men? Who we talking about? Who like men? Jay said, this woman is crazy. She'll never find a man. Talking about Erica. Look,
I'm crazy. Mama but every time you ask me to be quiet, hold on a second, I listen, right?
No, I'm reading the chat room, Erica. Give me a second. Mama Jenkins said, Erica, you are headed in the right direction. Continue to do you and your therapy if it helps you, because you are all that matter. Just do you. I agree.
I agree too.
Jay said, this is Jay. He said he's in the chat room. He's on YouTube, by the way. We are on YouTube. He said, if you agree with Erica, you're a simp. Damn. Okay.
My point to my comment earlier, if a man is attentive to a woman's need, he's a simp. If he's gentle and patient with a woman, he's a simp. If he dates a woman who has multiple baby daddies, he's a simp. Why have y'all trained each other to believe that taking care of women, could have sworn that's what God put Eve on the ground for? But I guess, I'm confused and dumb and a baby mama, so I don't know no better. But it's not for men to be protectors and
I don't want to
leaders
be petty, but
the
you just used the word y'all again. You just said See?
Okay.
It's hard. It's hard, right? It's hard to, when we had these conversations, it's hard not to group people together. And this is where the problem comes, because everyone wants to say, you ain't talking about me. No, you ain't talking about me. So it's like, why you saying y'all? I started the shit, so I should be strung up.
No, but you know what though? That's just, like I said, that's my opinion, because I feel like when you date a woman with kids, her kids is almost a liability to you. They're no kin to you. You can't pass no generational wealth down to them because they're not yours, but you can if you want to. I mean, they basically strangers. Like me, myself personally, I'm not, and I've dated women with kids, but I never got that bond with their children. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's your kid, it's me and you. You know what I'm saying? Like my last girl who I was with, that's the closest I ever got to somebody's child. You know what I'm saying? Because first of all, I really don't like kids. You know what I'm saying? That's just straight up. And I let motherfuckers know. I swear to God. I can call them up. Do Dion like kids? No, I just don't like kids. And then, see, this is another thing, too, which you got to understand. And this is where we step away from this. And I'm going to try to shorten it up. Regardless of whatever y'all want to say, we still are somewhat creatures. We like animals. Like that one time when I was telling you how a man's penis is designed, you really ain't supposed to get circumcised because it's supposed to extract semen out of a woman. Wait, hold on. So when you got a lion, when you got a lion that comes into a pride and there's already babies there, he kills them immediately. Gorillas too, because that's not his lineage. You feel what I'm saying? He wants his lineage to live on. So it's not, so when we deal with women with kids, it's not, we don't have that parental instinct to gravitate towards their kids, because regardless, even though we are civilized to an extent, we still are homo sapiens, regardless of whatever. And that's another thing when y'all be talking about, well, why man can't be this? Men technically are not meant to be faithful. One man and one woman didn't populate this earth. I don't give a fuck what y'all say. If a man can have multiple kids by different women in the 9 months it takes a woman to have a child. You feel what I'm saying? Men are meant to populate the earth. We gravitated towards this monogamous shit. You feel what I'm saying? Because if you read the Bible, those people had harems. They had wives. That's because you wanted your lineage to carry on. Like when we talk about marriage that day, marriage was a bond. Marriage was like a contract. You can have my daughter. You can have my daughter for 20 heads of sheep. You can have my other daughter for 30 oxen. You understand what I'm saying? So we, as civilized human beings, as we want to say, we gravitated to this. Well, I don't even want to be with her for the rest of my life, because me and my daughter mama had this conversation a couple weeks ago. My daughter, 31 years old. Me and my daughter mama would have been together. We'd have been together 34 motherfucking years. There is no way in the hell that I could have been with one woman 34 years and know how and ain't never had no other pussy. I could, like you always say, Kevin, I can tell you how to please her. I can't tell you how to please her. That's even right now when I be with my other girl. My one girl, like her nipples will be playing with. My other girl don't want you touching her titties. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on.
I'm just giving you this.
I know, but you tend to get X-rated talking about circumcised penises and nipples. Calm down.
I'm just saying, though, different women, you know what I'm saying? So I can tell you how to please her, but I can't tell you how to please her. You can tell me how to please her, but you might can't tell me how to please her. You feel what I'm saying?
I hear what you're saying.
Go ahead, Erica.
I hear what you're saying. Go ahead, Erica.
Go ahead.
Because I've learned a lot from you guys, like how to vet these people, who have all these niggas and shit like that, and just pick up on red flags. Like, I didn't share with y'all that, you know, in the beginning of the summer, I fucked around with dating a guy who ended up being a pedophile, and I got 3 daughters. And I had to trick him into telling me that he was a pedophile. Okay? But because I used the shit that I learned from y'all, I was able to trick him into finding out he was a pedophile.
Well, how the fuck did you have to do all of that, though? Where the fuck you find this nigga at?
This nigga found me. He asked me for my number because, let y'all tell it, I'm not supposed to go and go get the nigga I want. I'm supposed to wait until love find me.
That's true. We do say that. We do say that.
Also, if I'm listening to Dion's logic on how men are to procreate and have multiple wives, why do I have to lose value if that theory is correct?
Good question. Okay, hold on for anybody respond. Y'all some emotional motherfuckers tonight. I want to shout out Roosevelt Black Candidate. I think I'm saying that right in the chat room. Shout out to you, my brother. He said salute. Beauty Waddington said you're black and mild, and I can hear it. Who got a black and mild that you can hear, Erica?
I don't smoke black and mild.
Nah, well, I do, but I ain't smoking one right now. Mariah said, so why do you date women with kids? I think she's talking to Dion. Hold on. Let me finish the chat room.
I can explain that.
Hold on. Let me finish the chat room. Beauty says there are a lot of broken men and they need therapy because their mental space is so damaged. I wouldn't disagree with that. Mama Jenkins said, think about Solomon. Okay. Beauty says, do you have a wife, young man, or do you have a stable wife? She said, he's not a stable person. Okay. Mariah Johnson, Cuzzo says, men today can't take one house, and Dion talking about multiples. The fuck? And Beauty said, Dion is not correct. Mama Jenkins said Solomon had 700 wives and 300 concubines. Was that Old Testament or New Testament? I always ask people when they bring up the Bible, are you talking? Because you know, if it's Old Testament, you know, we got destroyed and had a reset because of that. So I'm just saying. But okay, so this went longer than I expected because somebody told me one time you really want people to get to talk and start talking about relationships. But I think there's enough coming from both sides. Shout out to Erica for stepping in, standing in for the sisters, because I think she just asked the most pivotal question of the show, which is, if it decreases a woman's value from having multiple baby daddies, but a man is put here to have concubines and he should populate the earth, why is the woman looked down upon if she's just helping him to serve his purpose?
I said it ain't no different.
Right. Dion said some important shit earlier. And Dion, me and you been agreeing when I started first joining on this and calling in, we did. But me and you been agreeing on politics lately and how we should be taking care of God's people. But you said something very crucial.
Hold on, Erica. You cut Kamar off. Finish up, Kamar.
Never mind. Like I said, I've been in agreement with Erica the whole time. I said it don't take from her value. It just make less men look at you. And I said the same way is for men. Men run through, get a bunch of kids. Less women start checking for them too. Ain't nothing wrong with that. That's just what it is. You still can find somebody. Nobody said you can't find nobody. Only 2 people said like that was Dion and nobody said that really. You know what I mean? So wasn't nobody talking about you personally, Erica. You just took it like that.
We got another caller. Hold on. We got another caller, y'all. Caller, are you with us? Let me see if I can pull his feed off. Caller, are you with us?
I got in at the right time. I see what it does, family.
Shine Mo, man, what's going on, man?
You know it, baby.
What's popping, man?
What it do?
Welcome to the show.
With Doctor and the family. What's going on, man?
It's going down, man. It's what we just talking about standards and talking about, the back and forth between sisters and brothers and who's a high value versus low. It's just a bunch of different shit they say all over the place, like bird shit. Now, did you call in because you heard something that triggered you? You just like, what the fuck going on? And you wanted to kind of figure out.
No, I just came from a walk with go back in there, baby. Okay, go back in there now. With your granny. I just came back from a walk with my grandbaby and today Wednesday. Let me see if I can catch the family for a minute, see what we talking about. I know a lot going on, right? And you always talking about it. So I want to join in on the conversation. That's all, brother.
That's what's
up.
You
too late if you ain't heard the beginning of it.
Right. Erica, make your point that you want to drop on us.
So Dion said that he had a connection with one of his girlfriend's daughter, and because when they split up, that connection was destroyed. I'm scared to date men with children right now, or even get to know their kids, because I had a relationship with a guy, got to know his daughter, became a mother figure in her life, and then he ripped her out of my life. So I think that's the real reason why men don't want to date women, because they're scared to fall in love with these little people and then have them taken from them.
They ain't scared of that.
But I'm gonna get off this line because Sean Moore likes to prove that I'm wrong all the time.
No, I was just messing with you, Eric. I ain't here for that. I gotta welcome. Well, I gotta say hello. I ain't on none of that, baby girl.
I know. Your love language is bullying. I know.
Well, hold on. Because we got Sean here, this is kind of a great segue. Because we had a conversation the other night about the state of emergency event that was held last night, and we talked about the number of people whose names were on there. Now, to review the conversation, what I stated was I said I wouldn't go because I don't see going to a meeting that really has no agenda and intentions to come up with a long-term solution. I see that as a waste of time. And so, but I did have to admit, shout out to Kamar, shout out to everybody who was on the show who said, no, Kev, but brothers getting together and talking and conversing and fellowshipping is a great thing. Like that's a good thing. So what I wanted to know was, did anybody go to the meeting and what was the result of, okay, so thank you for calling in.
I went.
Now, what happened at the meeting?
There was some talking done. It wasn't, we didn't get around to solutions, right? They didn't get around to, I ain't gonna say we, because I was there for a few hours, but it was some talking done, and I didn't get a chance to to get the mic like I wanted to because it wasn't that type of meeting. But my thing is you can't expect to work with people on the ground, right? With these people in need if you can't work together. If the people that doing the work can't work together, can't come together and work righteously, right? Breaking up silos, removing ego, we'll never accomplish anything.
I'll take you off this line because my kid's chatty.
Yeah.
I was going to say, who had a family reunion? It sounded like somebody's playing kickball or something in the background.
Until that meeting is had, then there needs to be a meeting amongst those who are leaders, who are in leadership, who claim to be leaders, right? That meeting needs to be had first. Because if I got a problem with 7 people in this group that we supposed to be working with, how are we gonna work together if we resolve our issues or at least had a conversation around our issues? Jasmine Tyler, and I gotta applaud her tonight.
Shout out to Jazz. Shout out to Jazz. Yes, sir.
Because her statement was on point. She was honest, right? And it wasn't in malice, right? She said, that's like me and Tori. I don't rock with Tori. She didn't say out of malice. She said to prove a point. How are they going to work together if there's something between them, right? If people got up there, they, talk about what they did or what they didn't do. They had a kids panel that really broke my heart because, they not being taught, trained like we were, bro. You know what I mean? It's like they don't want to be talked to, right? They don't want to be held responsible. Just let us be. Y'all don't know how to pull piss out of boots. Just like let you be. When we let you be, you see what happens: death, destruction. You have mothers crying. So it's a lot to be done, right? It was a good opening.
So let me ask you this, because you're saying now hold on. Let me say this. Everything you just said about people who are sideload, and even if they're in the same room, doesn't mean that they're going to be able to work together cohesively and put whatever issues or separations there are. I said that when you talked about your meeting, whatever your event, I should say, where you were talking about brothers locking arms and whatnot. I said that. I said you can't. I've been in the community long enough to know that there's some issues between certain groups that almost are unrepairable. Like they are going to flat out refuse to work with each other. So when we do have this meeting, it turns into a speech contest. Now, I want to ask you, did they leave there with any plans to reconvene and maybe establish committees or have breakout sessions, or what was the end of the night? What's the point going forward?
I really can't honestly speak on that. I can speak on what I was told by one of the organizers because I left before that point. They are getting together to debrief and go over the next meeting. But like I told the organizer, something like this, if you want to work, you need to have meetings already set, and they can't be spread out quarterly. They can't be spread out biannually. You have to start maybe weekly, maybe twice a week to see who can work with each other, who can't work with each other. Because if you continue in this form of fashion, it's just going to continue to be a lot of talk because you haven't dealt with the underlying issues, which is leadership can't work together, just like you said, right? There was a lot of people that weren't there, that should have been there, right? Because they doing work. But I got a problem with these people, so I'm not going.
Okay.
And like I walked in there last night, man. People shook my hand that didn't want to shake my hand, right? But I'm not threatening nobody, right? I put my hand out. You got to shake my hand right now because of where we at, right? I didn't call it out. That wasn't the place for it, right? I'm not on that. If you don't want to work with me, man, that's not my problem. That's your problem, right? But we need to have a conversation still, because I don't want you feeling some kind of way. And I'm believing that, hey, we working together, but all the time you still trying to stab me in my back.
So the answer to my question is that there's
Nothing.
really okay. That's what I wanted to. I'm like, he on some Orlando tonight. So
nothing yet.
So
nothing yet, but I'm hopeful.
Okay.
Nothing yet, but I'm hopeful.
Because
I'm hopeful.
I listened. I listened to the portion. Shout out to Mama Jenkins, first of all, because she sent me the link. So I could see it. Because I didn't no, she didn't. I'm sorry. I seen it, somebody else put it up. I shared it in People's Network. And she was looking for it. I think I told her where it was at. But shout out to Mama Jenkins anyways. But she did answer in the chat room and said Solomon was in the Old Testament, which is what I had asked. But so Sean, basically, and I don't want to hate, like, because I applaud brothers getting together.
Yeah.
But if it serves no purpose. So I'm saying that to say, if it's not a moment where all these groups come together, the leaders of these groups come together and agree, from now on, y'all, we're going to be all on the same team. And then they go back to their people and say, listen, we're going to be supporting this one. We're going to be supporting that one. I'm just saying, I don't really see the point of meeting.
Yeah.
We could do this shit on Facebook. Like, we can have one big ass Teams call. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I knew that the preacher, I heard the preacher speaking.
Who? Do it to death?
The pastor of the church. Is that Redante Ashford?
Yeah, that's Mr. Do It to Death.
Okay, I don't.
The rapper, dude.
I remember he was a rapper, but I never can say I heard none of his music. I know he had something to do with Cuckoo because I saw the documentary. But so I heard him speaking. But sometimes I feel like when we go to these meetings, you're just telling me what I already know.
Yeah.
There's no new. Like, you didn't come with some revolutionary discovery to say, listen, we have to understand. We got to understand this tonight, y'all. And people leave there and like, I did not know that shit, or I never thought of it like that. It's like, and then I heard some other speakers and they spoke a different way and they may have chosen different words, but they all said the same thing. So why do I need to go and sit for 3 hours for this?
So I'm so that, you know, if they do it again, when they do it again, it's going to be different panelists, right? I think it also needs to be different moderators, because those questions is, you know, there's some soft questions, man. It's, you know, you didn't want to ruffle no feathers, but I thought that's what we were there for, right? To ask them hard questions.
Were there any elected officials there? Because I feel like they need to be there too. Okay.
No, they were there.
Okay.
They were there, but see, that's the thing. They didn't hear anything different than what they've been hearing. There was no demands. There was no, you know, okay, there was some folks that, well, we got to hold people accountable, right? But it's not going to hold everybody in the room accountable, including your friend that you giving this money to just because, hey, you my guy and I'm going to say you're doing something. If you're not going to hold them accountable, how you going to hold the leadership accountable? When y'all supposed to be, y'all got all these people in this room. There was a lot of electeds there, bro. Right? And I was happy to see that.
Okay.
But there was no ask of them, right? There was no ask. And you that's what it was. That's what was missing. KB, as an organizer, you know exactly what I'm saying. There was no ask at the end, right? Like the riot that went on for almost, or the marching for almost a year, right? There was no ask at the end. So it was like, what was it for? What we do this for? If we didn't leave with nothing. So but I don't even think it was enough time to get to the ask because everybody wanted to make their statement.
That's it. That is the speech. Right? That is the speech contest. That's what I'm talking about.
Because questions were asked and it wasn't answers being given, it was statements being made in a lot of them, in a lot of the answers. So yeah, I guess, man, it's wow. I said I'm leaving the negativity alone. I really But man, sometimes it's hard.
The truth is the truth. You don't gotta.
Yeah.
You can't spin it. Mariah Johnson is speaking to
No.
you in the chat room. Beauty Waddington said, "Well, if no solutions whatsoever, who headed the meeting?" Earl Henning
See, but this
said,
is the thing,
"Hold on.
right?
Let me finish with the chat,
Okay, yeah.
Sean." Earl Henning says, "Who said the pussy costs more than dick?"
Huh?
Earl, that's the conversation.
I missed the whole conversation.
That's it. Yeah, you missed the Wild Out portion of Wild Out Wednesday. Beauty Waddington said, "What are the underlying issues?" Mariah Johnson said, "Earl Henning, what?" That's what I said too.
Yeah, I'm with Mariah.
Erica Hunt said, "What you say sounds like a broken record." I think which me or Sean? Who we talking about? Erica. Mama Jenkins said, "Was the chief of police there?"
No.
Beauty said, "Because you are a masterpiece of society, you can give the Negro whisper." What? You can what you talking about? Beauty, what you talking about? Mariah says, so Sean, what are you saying is the leaders can't lead by example? And Brenda Peterson says Kev called that before the meeting. Almost to the nines, right? Like I literally said all of that.
Mariah, ask the family right quick, right? I'm not saying that the leaders can't lead. I'm saying that there were some in leadership in that room. There were some who are self-proclaimed leaders. There are some who have been given that title unworthily. Just like, there's elders that are called elders. Leaders are born, man. It's a natural ability. It's a natural charisma. It's a draw that you have on people, on their hearts, on their pain. And it was some people that were leaders in that room. Everybody in that room was not a leader, though.
Okay, now Erica has called back in. I know this because I can hear her kids. Erica,
hello. Hey, at least I don't drop these mommy duties like some of these other baby mamas who got 7 baby daddies and don't even take care of their
Hey.
But anyways, I ain't going back to
me a silly?
No, let her give her comment, Sean.
Don't start with me, Sean, because I'm definitely emotional and triggered every part of a woman right now.
Oh Lord, yeah,
So
let her
watch
talk.
out, because ain't nothing like a woman scorn. Anyhow, no, my comment in the comment was, yeah, they sounded like a broken record last night. I was watching a little bit.
Oh, okay. They sound okay. Okay, thank you for answering that question. Okay.
But I was agreeing with you. There is nothing said that we don't know.
Okay.
And then the fact that Sean Moore, who went to the event, left the event, has connections with the organizers of the event, said that there was no solution and there was no axe. My axe is, if we're gonna talk about accountability, then who we holding accountable?
Well, did you go to the meeting?
I was watching it online.
No, but were you there to give your ask? Is what, because he said there was no ask, and you telling us what yours is now. But you should have said that last night.
I don't go to some of them. I don't go to a lot of these events because there are a lot of people that I respect on the panel, but then there's a lot of people who don't respect me on the panel.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Okay.
Because I'll bluntly say, who accountable? You the leader in the community, but yet majority of your people keep getting involved in gang violence. I'm the leader that'll say, who accountable? The person who throws an event, but there's a whole riot every time? Who we holding accountable?
They needed that voice here.
Hold these people accountable, and then keep watching all the headlines hit the news.
You sound like you know exactly who you talking about.
Huh?
That voice should have been there.
I got blacklisted.
Hold on. Let's let the witch doctor get in. He's been sitting chilling for a minute, so I know he's ready to pop.
Hey,
What's pop?
I think that voice should have been there to ask that question. Because you know what I mean? Like, you really got to talk. You got to get down into it. You know what I mean? Let's figure some shit out if we going to figure it out. You know what I mean? So, like, really we had that voice need to be there to ask the certain people that. Remember the other night, though, I just wanted to comment on that. I agree with you, Erica. I'm just saying that voice need to be there. to ask those questions in front of everybody. So they can be accountable for their shit, the people you talking to, or talking about. But the other night I was saying all individuals going to the event should be going looking for somebody that's got some stuff in motion if you don't have a plan. Find somebody who got some stuff in motion and get active if that's where your heart is. You know what I mean? Like, ain't nobody gonna fix it by themselves, but you can start getting active now. Whoever it is, I ain't speaking to nobody in general. I'm just saying for the masses of the different people that come to see what's going on. Let's start going to these events to network and get with people who got the wheels turning until you figure your shit out. You know what I'm saying? Till you figure out your role in this revolution. You know what I'm saying? Help somebody who know what role they playing. They need some help.
He needs some milk. I couldn't resist myself. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself. My bad. Right.
Yeah, that way, you know what I mean? Because she really like, because we find ourselves talking down on certain people. You know what I mean? Instead of going to the event with intention.
Okay.
The intent is to link up with some people, right? Well, we should be going with that intent to link up with somebody who already got the wheels turning if we don't.
Right.
Or we should be going looking for help to help us turn our wheels.
Okay.
Let's go with some intention when we go to these meetings.
So Beauty's in the chat room, right? And the word intention is probably my favorite thing you said there, but I don't know if people understand what intention means, because sometimes your intentions ain't positive. Because there were some people there who went with the intention to be able to leave and say, that was some bullshit, that wasn't nothing. Right. So their intention through the door was wrong.
That's why I talked about the intent.
Right. No, I agree with you. Beauty said that's why I should have been there. She said how many leaders were there. It was a bunch of leaders. And he even said some elected ones. Mama Jenkins said, I've never heard them talk about economic development. That's my thing, Mama Jenkins. That's my thing. If we ain't talking about economic development, we ain't talking about nothing. If we're not talking about anti-poverty initiatives. Now, if you want Kev to come, right? Have some expert into play. Right? That's why I said we need a committee with a law guy, a medical guy, a science guy, an education guy. And they don't have to be men. But I'm saying you want to create a think tank. So I'd like to be on the part of economic development. Because really, if you're not attacking poverty, you're not trying to stop violence.
You ain't doing that.
Ain't no such thing as anti-violence prevention unless there's an economic development component to it. So Mama Jenkins, you're right, Mama Jenkins. And then who's this? Beauty said all of you should have been there. But you heard what he said. Some people have worked. Some people are out in the streets working, because there's a bunch of brothers who could have been there that is out in neighborhoods helping people move trash and helping elderly people get their properties back right because of this flood. She said, me too. I didn't know about it. She said it's coming to an end with Trump. We better get this together. Well, I'll tell you what, once again, when it comes to that, and once again, we'll get back to what Kamar said about intention. And I don't know if everybody understands how this thing should work, because everybody wants to be the main man. Everybody wants to be a historical figure. They want a street named after them. They want a proclamation. They want a mural, right? So a lot of times people come in with the unwillingness to follow or cooperate at all. It's, hey, whatever we do, me and mine need to be at the forefront of it. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's why it should be smaller before it gets bigger, Sean. And what I mean by that is to assemble this committee. Kamar, I wish we could remember the name of what we said this committee should be named. I should have wrote that down. I can't remember, but it was a dope ass name. And whether people like it or not, there should be a committee, and everybody on that committee have a delegate that they have to go out and attack their issue. And if you need support from the team as a whole, we got you. But everybody, when we meet, they're reporting out to the people. They're not telling people, well, we got a problem with murder and crime. They should be saying, hey, we took this particular part of town that had a certain percentage of this, that, and the other, and through our efforts, we've reduced crime by this much. We need more support.
Let me ask you a question right quick. While we got the audience attention, right? If I could provide that platform to you, would you set that up?
If I agree with the platform, I would.
A nonprofit that you can set it up under a foundation, 501c3, that's something that's positive, no mess, untarnished, innocent, ain't been touched by none of the dirty hands, starting fresh.
I reserve the right to make up my mind after I have more information about any and everything. So I would have to look over what the whole thing was about.
Conversation after this.
Okay, well,
let's have a conversation after this. My uncle just gave me the authority to use the 501c3 as I follow the mission. So yeah, let's have a conversation about it.
We'll chop it up. So check this out. But here's the thing. Why, like you said, why we got people here. This whole thing of Trump taking over DC, right? We've talked on this show about crime, and black people are like on the fence with crime because we want to do something about it, but we don't want man them to go to jail. Like we have this culture culture of dysfunction, right? And there's a belief that we as black people, foundational black Americans in these communities, tolerate crime. Like we're cool with it. Now, I'm playing complete devil's advocate on this because I do not agree with the federal government taking over a city. I don't care. To me, the biggest mistake you can ever make is to have the nation's military, whether it be the National Guard, whether it be the reserves, whoever, for them to turn their guns on the citizens who pay their salaries. I think that's wrong as two left shoes, okay? But how tough do we need to be on crime? Because we got two options: gentrification or martial law, right? So it's gentrification or occupation. Now, if he's looking at this saying, I'm doing this because I am absolutely, and I don't think Trump has a righteous intention in his body, right? I don't think he does anything to help people. I think this is all him stroking his ego or whatever and just being a maniacal madman. But I am saying that if this is one of his policies to be tough on crime, because now we had Orlando on the show the other night who was telling me that the consent decrees and whatever it was, and Trump can't do that because the laws that he came right along and said, shit, I might go to New York next. I'm thinking about going to Chicago. It's not about the laws that are there to prevent him. It's about him destroying those laws, doing what he wants to do. Okay. But with how out of control crime is in our communities. Now, they're talking about DC because of the murder rate. The murder capital of this country right now is St. Louis, Missouri. I believe they're already over 100 homicides. Okay. So per capita is what makes it, not necessarily because if you got 7, 8, 9 million people, you expect more than 100 people to be murdered. But I'm saying per capita. So it's St. Louis, it's Chicago, it's Detroit, it's New York, it's Los Angeles, it's Miami, it's Memphis. Memphis is fucking dangerous. Okay. So if this is how we gonna move, he's not gonna stop at DC, especially if they have any success. You can look around in 2 years, the National Guard will be standing on the corner in every major city in this country. But we said we want crime and we want somebody to be strong against crime. Yeah. Is this the solution?
Yeah, he can't do that in some of them other states, though.
You think he can?
The governors, it'll be a fight. You know, they have to take it to court. You know what I'm saying? They
stopped him before.
They got to go to court. You know what I'm saying? Like in the District of Columbia, he has that right, but he doesn't have that right in Illinois, Wisconsin, Minnesota. Now, some of those like Miami, Missouri, some of those red states, the governors might allow that, you know what I'm saying, welcome that because they're ignorant, but a lot of those other states, you know what I'm saying, What you say, no, that was he just can't go up in there and do that.
Well, see, this is where the conversation turns, because right now we'll say what he can't do. Now, if you flash back to January, there was a lot of shit that he couldn't do, but he managed to get it done. And he gets more and more decisions from the Supreme Court every day about blocking injunctions. He's already blocking injunctions across the country for states. So we can't really say he can't do that. And I heard the mayor of Chicago say, well, there's going to be some lawyers involved. Yeah, we know.
But the thing about it is, though, like, all this shit kind of confusing. Okay, say for instance, like you say, he got the United States Supreme Court. But then you got local Supreme Courts that say, no, we blocking it. So who overruled who?
The Supreme Court trumps state Supreme Courts. The Supreme Court is the highest court in the land. When they make a decision, because you don't get to the Supreme Court unless you go through the state Supreme Court.
Mm-hmm.
So the Supreme Court is the preeminent court in the country. They're going to say, nah, he right. That's why they are appointed. So I'm just saying, Dion, I'm always one to say there's checks and balances. That's why in the beginning, when you would talk about Project 2025, which you always did way before you got elected, I would say, well, Dion, there are some legal ramifications in here. And we even predicted that there would be political upheaval because the judges and we've even shouted them out on here for trying to fight back, right? But he's beating them out. So I don't think we can necessarily say what it won't do. Or, we don't know. So, but my question to you is, a city like Chicago that's just certain parts of it that's just destroyed by crime, do you support the National Guard coming in there regulating shit?
No, and I hate when I hear people be talking about the crime, man. It's 5 million people in Chicago.
Right.
You mean to tell me if it's 5 million people driving a car, ain't gonna be one accident a day? It's 5 million people there. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be motherfuckers get killed. That's just how life is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but not at the levels that we, Dion. Not at the levels we're seeing. Not at the levels that we're seeing. If he put them in the worst areas, I'm saying the concentration is on the areas where the crime is highest. Obviously, you're gonna put them
nobody be getting killed.
Okay.
That's how life is.
Let's not talk like that shit's normal.
People been getting killed since the beginning of time.
That's the problem. Right? We talk like it's normal. That don't mean it's so. Like, we talking like it's normal.
So was it normal in the Bible? I'm confused because I hear a lot of people preaching about Cain killed Abel.
It wasn't normal. That's why it's a sin.
Shit.
Hold on,
man,
Sean. Wait, Sean, make that point. Make that point, Sean.
Huh?
Make that point.
Okay. That's why it's not normal. That's why it is a sin. That's why it's a sin that God at one point wanted a body. You couldn't go around killing somebody, man. That's why these laws that men are supposed to live under and uphold, these are the laws that were made, the laws of God that God handed down. Right? These are the laws that he gave to Moses to give to the people, right? No adultery. No other God but me. Like, murder. Bro, it's we only know 10. We only know of the top 10. But he gave more than that. But man couldn't, bro, we can't even up to the 10.
So okay.
I don't know. People get killed.
I want to get Sean's take. So, are you cool with the police coming into Milwaukee regulate? I mean, with the federal government coming into Milwaukee regulating, Sean?
I am not, because they are trained for wartime, right?
Right.
And they're trained to protect our borders, international, domestic, all that, right? They are not trained to
police. Right.
Can I ask a question?
That's not their job.
I thought you hung up, Eric. I thought you took your kids somewhere. Go ahead.
No, we just came from the park, but
Come on.
my question is if killing is normal, how come the second commandment is thou shalt not kill?
Well, that's to Sean's point, saying it's wrong. I think the point Dion was trying to make was that I don't believe you could ever truly eliminate murder. I'm not saying that, and I'm not saying that there hasn't always been murder. I think the case here is at the levels that it exists right now, in particular with youngsters, and even if it's been going on a long time, I think this is a time, and there also always should be a time where people say that's wrong. We shouldn't let that happen. We should try our best to prevent that and eliminate that. So, but my question for everybody is with the level of crime that we see right now, is it time for some drastic measures to be taken, like sending in the National Guard?
You Mama Jenkins, right? Prevention involves economic development. Prevention involves de-escalation. Prevention involves intervention. Prevention involves retention, right? What the country is now practicing is not prevention. What the country is now practicing is trauma-informed care, which is saying, hey, we're prepared to deal with it after it takes place.
Okay.
Right? How do we prevent trauma? Now, we always think of trauma as just physical trauma, but there's financial trauma involved as well. We don't talk about the financial trauma because then we ain't got to talk about economic development. But if we want to talk about economic development, we have to talk about the financial trauma so that people understand that they're going through something financially as well. And how do I heal from that so that I can become literate financially, so that I can understand the laws around owning property and how to build my own trust and how to build my own bank without going to the bank, how to sustain properly.
Okay.
Yeah, my bad.
It's all good. It's all on radio. It's good. It's good. Ewok, what you talking about? 15 times A is 15. Okay. And Beauty said he's the president. He got 4 more years. Yeah, we know that. I think that's the problem. Mama Jenkins said KB Beauty. She said he's the president. He got 4 more years. Mama Jenkins said, she said, KB, you know Trump got his nuts in his head and the rest of his nuts are around him. Earl Henny said, fuck Donald Trump, will set you free. And Ewok said, can't give total control. No, I'm not talking about total control, but there's no other way around what that actually is. That's martial law. I mean, if you got the military in the streets enforcing a curfew and dictating traffic and performing involuntary traffic stops and, just grabbing people because they look suspicious or giving a lease to just kind of run rampant through the city and be like, what, find what you can. Because like the point Sean made is we're talking about bringing in individuals who are not police officers, who have not gone through law enforcement training. I don't know that a soldier has to have as great a knowledge of the law as a police officer does, right?
They don't.
So
they don't.
If we're gonna have, especially National Guardsmen, aren't they like weekend cops or some shit? I don't know how it works at the National Guard, but they're not like full-fledged military soldiers. Mama Jenkins said 10 Commandments, number 5, thou shalt not kill. Beauty says some people don't understand they are living in a nutshell. I don't know who doesn't understand that, especially now. If you ain't looking around saying this shit's crazy, you might be crazy, right? And I am shaming you for being unaware. I once again I want to reiterate this. First of all, everybody please share the show. Brenda Peterson said they go one weekend a month. So these are basically citizens who once again are on the payroll that we pay for, and you're gonna send them in to regulate other citizens? That's not gonna end well. That's that's asking for a civil war.
Yeah, I was about to say, sometimes that shit can be, and you know what, Kim, I was thinking about you the other day, too, when you was like, y'all seen that movie, Civil War? And think about how Civil War was, like, the president was in Washington, D.C., and he was, like, held up in there and scared, like, and, every state, like, I don't know, sometimes that, I believe, in certain cities and certain states, that's going to antagonize people, you know what I'm saying? Because people get fed up with that shit. They're like, who the fuck do these people think they is? And then next thing you know, you got people shooting at the police, you got people shooting at the military, and it's just crazy, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. I think it's a recipe for disaster, but, November the 5th, we had a chance to make it, and, motherfuckers was like, well, I don't want policy. It ain't gonna vote for no Democrat. That's why your mama motherfucking Medicaid gonna get cut off. Y'all gonna lose y'all Section 8. Motherfucking jobs laying off. It's gonna be rough out here, man.
So
like this man
but that's the escalation part of it. That's the escalation part of it, Dion, in which if these National Guardsmen are fired upon, say 2 of them get killed, what is the next step? We're going to take the National Guard out and send the actual military in. Okay? So if you if they're in a neighborhood firing up on the military and they got some soldiers pinned down, you're going to have to lay that whole neighborhood down to find or pinpoint where it's coming from. So this initiates the people versus the United States military. That's why this is dangerous. And
I got a question.
What's that?
I think I heard y'all correctly, but did I hear that y'all said that the National Guard are civilians who get sent out to do stuff? Like, what was that said? Because that sounded similar to like some of the solutions they think that they're going to make to Milwaukee issues.
The National Guard are citizens who commit to being trained, military, have weekend military training. So they go once a month and train for whatever situations. And they're dispatched at the behest usually of the governor of a state. But Donald Trump has kind of come in and said, "No, this is going to be my personal little, my little unit, Army. My little G.I. Joe joint." But they are, for lack of a better term, regular people who train once a month in military tactics. So we're not talking about the United States Army or the United States Marines. He did deploy the Marines in LA, though. We've already seen that he's willing to do so.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay, so then here's my second question. This goes back to solutions and crime and violence prevention here in Milwaukee. A lot of times it's been, well, that's not what I think that stays there. But however, because when I think that live and they got to fight and stuff, I was more scared for the volunteers that showed up to do the job.
Stop right there. You said when you seen the live and they got to fighting and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Prevention is they don't fight, dear. There's no fight, right? Because you hijack that part of the brain, right? You go in and you prevent that from happening, and then you also retain so that you prevent anything that happens afterwards, right? That's prevention. That's what we're not doing. That's why we're not saving lives. We're losing lives because we get there after the fact. We're reacting.
But isn't that like the similar module that they use for the National Guard?
Well, if these people who were there, and shout out to those people who were at State Fair, and y'all braver than me because but I'm saying if they are specifically trained and they train year round, right, to go into these places and mediate situations, and they're trained in tactics that can keep them safe and potentially keep others safe, then I would say it is kind of like the same. It's a similar idea. But I don't know how they trained, or if they just said we volunteering to go in here, y'all, and we gonna break up fights. Because breaking up a fight, and I learned this from working with youth. Breaking up a fight is not as just simple as just breaking it up. As a matter of fact, at St. Charles, we had what was it? It was the MAB, managing aggressive behavior, and so they taught us how to approach a conflict behind, from different angles to prevent people from getting hurt. But there also has to be some element of crowd control, right? So it was never wise for you as a staff person to jump in the middle of a fight and you're the only one there. That's why they said the first thing you need to do is call for help and get assistance, right? And if you grab one of the kids and the other one say, "Oh, he holding him," now he gets the up on him and he pummel him, you're liable. So it has to be a strategic thing where we position ourselves and say, "You ready? Yes, let's break it up." And there's even certain kind of holds and things like that you have to utilize to do that. Now, if you're training in that, then I feel more comfortable with you walking around State Fair, policing these situations. And that's once again, that's not to criticize nobody who's doing it, because y'all braver than me. I'm too old for that now. Ain't no wrestling with no little young Thundercats, you know what I mean, in front of the hot dog stand for me. I'm cool. Let me go to this chat room, y'all. Shit, this is long. Hold on. This is I'm catching up, y'all. Give me a second. Where did it stop? This is Ernest said can't give control. Beauty Watkinson says some people don't understand. They live 1 week in a month. Okay, this is Beauty. She says let's look at it all. What's going on in the world? Jasmine Crockett is almost president. If we could just get together, Kevin, there's a place to start. 27th and pick up the end street. Jasmine Crockett is almost president.
Who said that?
I just read the comments, bro.
Where that from?
And I'm gonna speak up for the women again. She should be considering a campaign to run for president.
Why?
I don't disagree.
Tell me why. Nah, okay, but I'm not saying that she should, but I need to know why she should. Because she's outspoken.
Well, she's been doing the work. She's been advocating.
What she done?
She's been bringing awareness to it. She's been talking.
Okay,
Not only that, she does have an extensive record of winning civil rights cases. So I think
what
she kind of.
laws has she passed?
What law? That's what y'all did to Kamala Harris, and I'll look at what situation we in.
No, seriously. That's like Trump ain't qualified. I don't want another person not qualified.
As a woman, I know when to shut up.
No, Kamala, Jasmine Crockett, if the Democrats run another black woman as president, they're guaranteed to lose. We ain't gonna play. We not playing favoritism.
They haven't run a black woman. They've never run a black woman. Remember, y'all said Kamala wasn't black, so this will be the first time.
Don't run a woman.
She can be pink. She can be pink. I don't care, right? But you cannot go in there just because you get sympathy votes or you know what, black empowerment votes, because we don't even, bro.
But Sean, she is accomplished.
Even if all of us,
she is accomplished.
I'm not saying that, right?
She's accomplished. She's done some things.
Okay. I wasn't talking to you though, right?
No,
because
I'm saying
make
period.
the argument.
I'm saying period.
But no. What I'm saying is the person making the argument, right? You're gonna have to answer questions. You can't be silent when you challenge, because you're gonna speak up for her. If you want to persuade me to vote for her or anybody else, if it's just boo-boo against Trump, right? But if I want to, if there's
if I would jump in on my end, because he said I can't challenge it or introduce the idea and then go quiet. Well, we gave y'all every reason why Kamala Harris should be president, and you still didn't vote her in as president.
Well, you saying we and y'all, Erica, because black people 85.
So what word am I supposed to use? Because this sounds like the pronoun.
Listen to me. 85% of black people voted for Kamala. 85%.
Voters.
Yeah.
85%. I told voters. Here, I'll change my language up. I am a specialist in language. I'll change my language up. Voters. We told voters to pay attention. We told voters that Kamala Harris had these intentions. We also told voters that Donald Trump had these intentions as well.
Okay. I like that. I like voters better. I like voters better. I like that.
Voters still put Donald Trump in office.
Latinos, white women, and white men.
Not all voters.
Latinos, white women, and white men.
The majority did, though, because that's how he got in office, right? That's the whole purpose in the system of voting.
That's who did it.
But you know what? You ain't going to be able to convince. The red states like, listen, man, you can't convince them hunkies nothing. They pure on hate, and they don't care. They felt like he was the best thing. You know what I'm saying? So you have to hit those major states, those battlegrounds, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, maybe, I don't think New York a battleground, Michigan. You got to hit those battleground states where you can get those electoral votes. Don't listen. We ain't going to go off favoritism and all that bullshit. We're going to talk reality.
Yeah.
And listen, Jasmine Crockett, never. And not saying that she won't be qualified. It's not. We're not looking for no favoritism. We need somebody that's going to be able to get up in there, appeal to the people.
Somebody white.
Basically,
a man, a white man.
So we got
a white man, not a woman.
The next thing we need in office is another white man.
Yeah, it's going to have to be. That's what it's going to have to be.
Even though the voting
unless
system
you can bring the rock back.
So even though the voting,
God damn, it's a lot of people calling tonight.
By white men and we got a super racist white man in office. You want another white man in office?
Well, I'm gonna tell you this, and I can tell you don't follow Jasmine Crockett. She did.
And we gonna ignore all the work that Jasmine Crockett is doing right now.
Hold on. Jasmine Crockett did a panel. I don't know if you know who Cherie and Clay is. Clay, they be on the what they call the Sirius XM, but they did a panel. Yeah. Jasmine Crockett even said it out her mouth. She said they're gonna have to find a white boy, a white man, somebody safe. Somebody safe. And basically the Democrats are gonna start to have to play. They're gonna have to play hit below the belt. Fuck that when they go high, we go low, all that. They're gonna have to come with it. Because the Republicans have been coming with it. Like motherfuckers saying, you know what I'm saying? And what's his name, Mitch McConnell? Mitch McConnell been waiting to try to get Roe versus Wade since Ronald Reagan was in office. These people been plotted damn near since Reconstruction. You understand what I'm saying? So they had 400 years almost to get their game plan. They put a whole thing in front of us that said, this is what we gonna do play by play. And everybody's, oh, he's not gonna do that. That's the Democrats putting that out there fear-mongering. And that man is going chapter by chapter. You know what I'm saying? Chapter by chapter. In your face.
Yeah. Let me go to the chat room, y'all. Mama Jenkins said, FYI, they giving food stamps. They giving food stamps out. Who's giving out food stamps? Beauty Waddington said
replacement food stamps for anybody who lost food.
Oh, okay. Okay. I didn't know that. Thank you, Mama Jenkins. Beauty said that's how State Fair make their money. The fights. So when was that? Are they selling tickets? What are you talking about, Beauty? She said, what other fair has fights like this? Do the math and make sense of what's going on in Milwaukee County? Well, I'm here to tell you, there are fights at state fairs all over the country. Milwaukee is not unique.
Ain't just black people.
Milwaukee is not unique in its crime. Milwaukee is not unique. Every major city in this country has problems with violence. And that is why this whole ideology of Trump coming in to take over is more dangerous, because each one of these cities could be next because of their statistics. Now, thank God right now there are, stop gaps in a way, but we don't know how he's going to attack them. Who is this? I'm reading the chat room. She said, when did the fight happen? The mayor got his ass whooped at State Fair Park years ago by a Native American, not a black man. Brenda Peterson said, Republicans definitely think she's a threat. They're trying to restrict her district to get her out.
Amen.
Beauty says, said, what man should run? Bill Cosby? Yeah, okay. I'm gonna give you one of these, Beauty.
No, we're gonna let PDD run.
Orlando's on the line. I'm gonna give him a chance to chime in a minute. Beauty Waddington said, Sean, who would you put up against to run for president? And she said, you picking now, agree to disagree? I don't understand her question. She's asking you who would you vote for, basically. And then Earl says, hold on. Earl says, vote for me. And Earl said, vote for me and I'll set you free. That's ball of confusion, right? Vote for me and I'll set you free. Some old good temptations. Beauty said, hunkies don't move. She said, hunkies don't care if we black people cannot even understand that you as a man should not be allowed to speak when they are going to put a gay man in office. What will you say? Beauty, we got to invest in some punctuation, because that was the biggest run-on sentence. I don't even know what you're talking about. Orlando Owens, everybody's favorite black Republican, is on the line. Orlando, what's going on, man?
Man, what's going on, family? I'm just listening.
What's going on, Orlando?
Man, you got it.
I wish.
Now, I'm glad Orlando's here. I'm glad Orlando is here, and it's 9:52, so we don't have much time left, and I appreciate everybody on the show. If y'all want to help this show, please share the show. Share it on your timeline. That's all I ask. Just share the show. I know a lot of people come on Outlaw Radio, get interviewed, have a bomb conversation, and I'll be checking their pages. They don't be sharing my shit. Share the show.
I'll be sharing your shit about 4 or 5 times.
Those people know who they are. Dion. They know who they are. I ain't gonna say no names, right? Rhymes with fawn. Right? Listen,
bro, I'll be sharing your shit.
I'm fucking with you. Listen, I was watching DL Hewley. Right? And I'm on the fence with DL Hewley because I don't agree with everything DL says. but I do think DL makes some great points. I think DL Hughley kind of sometimes is a little bit too partisan. He just a taste. Because I'm not a Republican nor a Democrat, but he stated he was being interviewed by the brother who's on a TMZ, the light-skinned brother with the dreads, and he hang around Harvey a little bit too much for me. I'm sorry, I don't know his name. Because y'all know Harvey. Well, that's a different conversation. But he was asking DL Hughley, is there any forgiveness or understanding or willingness to cooperate with a Trump supporter, particularly a black Trump supporter? Now, I'm sitting here thinking somebody been sneak listening to my shit because we talk about this all the time, right? But DL said unequivocally no. And he gave multiple reasons why, if you are a person of color or even if you're a white person and you voted for Trump, why you should never be forgiven and you should not be given any space, even if you changed your mind. And this was the question. The brother said, well, what if they changed their mind? What if now they see something that they didn't understand before? And he still stood on that mountain and said, no, they're lying if they say they didn't know, because he said exactly what he was going to do before. And this has been in the works for years before this even started. So any person who has chosen to align himself with Trump is basically a worthless individual who's a waste of a person. I'm paraphrasing, but that's kind of like what he said. And he said he criticized Ice Cube about that. Now, that's what I'm saying. I don't agree with everything DL says, because if you look at what Ice Cube did, Ice Cube went to the Democrats and said, I have a contract for us as foundational Black Americans, and I'd like to get you all to take a look at it. They chumped him off. So he went to Trump, I guess, or tried to go to Trump. Did he end up meeting with Trump? Now he didn't get the answers that he wanted. So as a result, that shit got torn up and ripped away. So it's not like Ice Cube was saying, oh, I like Trump or I endorse Trump. So
what you got to understand, what Ice Cube did, he did that shit in the middle of an election. He disrupted the election, regardless of how people saying it, because they was talking about him the other day, because all of a sudden he got to change your heart. Fuck Cube too. You can't, in the middle of if you ain't.
No, that wasn't in the middle of an election, was it? When was it?
I think it was right before it was during 2006. During 2020.
Well, there was a situation where a bunch of black celebrities, remember Steve Harvey kicked this off. There was a lot of black celebrities who went to meet with Trump. Remember, everybody was pissed off about that. But Cube was separate. Jim Brown did too. Yeah, but Cube was separate. He was separate. But I don't. Okay, go ahead. You said he disrupted the election.
I think he did it during the 2016. Right before Biden was during the election time, during 2020 or 2016, whatever it was, he did it. And they was talking about that the other day, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you did that shit, him and P. Diddy basically said to motherfucker, like, I'm gonna go vote for dude. And then now you got a celebrity who, motherfuckers kind of, they might not look at them as politicians or whatever, but they might be like, well, let me see what dude's talking about. And then all of a sudden he said, well, I'm not fucking with him because he not this. And then all of a sudden you be like, well, if he not fucking with him and, he rich and famous, I might not fuck with him. So now that's a vote loss. Or if you saying, hold on, let me finish. Or if you saying bad shit about a certain candidate that people that were on the fence, couldn't decide, they just like, fuck it, I'm just going to stay at home. You know what I'm saying? Like, people be like, what's the Democrat?
It was 2020.
People have a right, Dion, to choose, to participate in whatever election they want to.
Man, I don't even want to respond to you, my guy. But go ahead.
It was 2020.
It's okay. It's okay, my guy. Understand this. People have the freedom. Some people voted for Cornel West, Jill Stein. So again, you can't sit here and say, well, anybody who's black who voted for Trump is scum of the earth. Come on, how silly is their time?
It's not silly.
I can't say that.
Yeah, I will. I don't give a fuck. On the real. I don't give a fuck if it was my mama. You know what I'm saying? I don't like nobody that voted for Donald Trump. Plain and simple. You knew what the man was on. You knew what the fuck he was on. The man said what he was on, and you still took your goof ass out there thinking that he gonna make America great again, and you see he's fucking up, and the world ain't getting them but worse and worse and worse. So it ain't like you didn't know. I didn't know.
I think the jury's still out on where we are right now.
Man, the jury ain't out on shit. It's people getting laid off. It's a bunch of people who got laid off, lost their jobs. It's plants closing. I don't know what type of bubble you living in.
Well,
on the real.
I don't live in the I hate Democrat and Trump, Republican bubble as you do as a party.
I don't hate Republicans. I just don't like anybody that voted for Donald Trump.
That's a goof.
I like Charlie Sykes. I like Michael Steele. I just don't like anybody that voted for Donald Trump.
It's a goofball thing to say, Dion. Either you have the intellect to understand it or you don't. It's a goofball thing to say.
Man, listen, I wouldn't give a fuck what you said, and I'll stand on it to the day I rot in hell. If you voted for Trump, fuck you. Plain and simple. You know what I'm saying?
Listen,
That's it. That's it.
Dion, let me go back to the chat room. Hold on. This is Earl Henning. He said, I said black Republican. He said he's not black. Brendan Peterson said, too damn late to change their mind. She said, exactly. He's doing everything he said he was going to do. Ewok said he agrees with Dion. Bad timing for Ice Cube. And Ewok said, fuck Orlando. But check this out. So in 2020, Biden won, right? He won, right?
Yeah.
So how's it bad timing? And hold on, before anybody start yelling at me, I say all the time that I am nonpartisan. Okay, I'm not a Democrat or a Republican, and I think both of them are shitholes of political parties and representation for people, especially for people of color who live in a certain tax bracket. But if I was involved in coming up with an agenda, because what that really was that Cube had was a black agenda. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna go to both parties and say, this is our ask. We talked about earlier having an ask. I'm going to go to both parties. If one fags me off and the other one say, well, let's holler, I'm going to go holler at him. Cube never said vote for Trump. He's never been a Trump supporter. Right. And people are getting on him for saying basically the same thing we say is fuck both parties. We concerned about us. This is what we want. This is no different than what people don't even know. Minister Farrakhan, I mean, I'm Minister Farrakhan, but the Honorable Elijah Muhammad met with neo-Nazis and the KKK years ago. That's why the nation has farmland in the South.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. That's why. That is why.
When we can't be closed-minded to hearing what each side says. Now, if both sides tell us to kiss their ass, then we got our answer right there. We got to do for us. So I don't agree with. I don't think it was bad timing on Cube's part. I think that Cube tried to do something in a space where not a lot of other people are, because you best believe if Oprah and Tyler Perry and Magic Johnson and Byron Allen and all the rest of these black billionaires got together and formed some sort of a political committee, some sort of political action committee, and said, we're going to present this to both parties. Whichever party signs off on what we want, that's where we're steering black voters. I think it would be the same thing.
Dion wouldn't go because he's a weirdo, because Trump represents the idea that we want things different in this country, from securing our border. Oh my God. Securing our border, getting better trade deals so we can bring American jobs back here. There is coming back to get you that. But at the same time, we've been getting screwed over in our deals forever that also produced jobs that never came back to this country. So, again,
well, we ain't hold on, Orlando. We ain't caping for Trump now. Wait. We ain't caping for Trump now. Like, I ain't, you took off when I got done and said, see, and no, fuck that, because some of the shit he wants is untenable and undoable. Like that whole thing about bringing American jobs back is a fallacy, because what is the reason why they're not here? An economic reason. This is a global economy now. This is not 1955. Who's this? Kevin LaFleur in the chat room. He says, we move forward. We got to move forward. I agree with that, but how do you move forward? Brenda Peterson said, Ernest Walker is crazy. Beauty said, Dion, you going to hell. Brenda Peterson said, my caseload went from 50 to 6. Unemployment rates are going up every day. I think she meant from 6 to 50. Kevin LaFleur said we move forward. She said she was asking a question. Was you asking him, was he going to hell? How would he know? Ewok says the timing still means something. If he want to start a movement, do it in the beginning. Well, what difference does it make if it's a black agenda, whether it's done in the beginning or the end? And Biden still won the election. So I don't know how. First of all, why should we wait? If we have a black agenda and we have things that we want done, why should we wait? Because this is a nonpartisan thing. So why should we give a fuck when the election's starting or not? We've been waiting. How long have we been waiting? I'm gonna wait. No, go do that shit right now.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you like I was telling you before, though. You know what I'm saying? We could play that vote shit, but see, that's another reason why the Democrats lost, because they were identifying. See, you got to understand, man. We not that many black people. You feel what I'm saying? White people are still a majority. White people don't really want black people to have shit. They want us just to have enough just to survive. They don't really want equality. You feel what I'm saying? That's just like with the when Kamala and them was talking about the LGBTQ. When they put out that shit that your taxpayers, your tax dollar are paying for homosexuals to get the full sexual whatever that shit when you in jail and shit. People bit off that shit. They didn't know that these people were getting this treatment before. So that's just like I get dialysis on the street when I go to prison. Y'all gonna say, fuck me? No, these people they were like post-op with this shit. So they had to continue giving them people that treatment and those motherfucking hormonal drugs or whatever. So when you try to go and play this, as you say, not bipartisan, but play this identity politics, a lot of those people that probably will gravitate towards the message are gonna get fearful. You feel what I'm saying? Like, well we really don't want those niggas to have a lot of shit.
There's two things
you know
you're
what
doing
I'm
here, Dion, that I disagree with. Number one is you're generalizing because you're saying white people. You're saying white people, and that is the assumption. That is the assumption that all white people are racist. And all white people are. That all white people it's impossible for 100% of any group to be the same thing. So, and that's not me coming with it was all white folks saying bad. That's not what I'm doing. What I'm saying is you cannot generalize, because if we're going to speak the truth, we have to be honest in how we speak. You can't throw shit out there. Hold on. We just went through this with Erica and with Eric. When you say y'all, when we see words mean something. So when you start saying they did or all of them. So, and the second thing is you said that y'all want to try this vote shit, and you've spoken against voting before, but you have never given us a solution. No, what should we do then? If we're not going to vote, so we should black people should just say, no, we ain't going to vote. Let them do what they want to do. That's what your solution has always been. And I don't agree with that either.
I'm saying vote. But we can't be like, if you're not going to do anything for the black people, then we're not going to vote. We can't do that.
What the fuck are you talking about? Why vote? Then why vote?
We can't do that.
You're wrong.
Well, look,
voting is your way. Voting is your way to demand change. What are you talking about?
Listen, if that's the case, then why the Civil Rights Bill, every other person benefited from it except for black people? If that was the case,
first of all, you can't say we didn't benefit at all. You can't say we didn't benefit at all. We did benefit from it.
We can't play
We did benefit from it. We did benefit from the Civil Rights Bill. We did.
He talking about recently. He's talking about
we as black people can't stand up there and say, we as black people can't sit up there and say, we're not going to vote for you if you don't give us nothing. They don't give a fuck about that.
They do.
You can sit up there
they do in swing states. They do. You don't understand, Dion. You don't understand swing states. You don't understand swing power. What you're saying shows me you don't understand how elections work in this country. Because if you take Wisconsin, if you take Michigan, if you take Ohio, if you take the swing states, the reason why they are important is because they have smaller populations and they have more electoral votes. So that means if the minority swing the vote in that state and that state wins, that candidate wins that state, they can make a difference. It's all taken into account. So you cannot tell black people stop demanding something in exchange for our vote. That is such an asinine perspective. Now, hold on, because I'm reading the rest of the chat room, and then I'll let y'all say what y'all want to say. This Sonia Thrower, shout out to Sonia Thrower. Y'all please share the show. She said Trump is a KKK. He don't care about anybody, especially black folks. Brenda Peterson said bullshit jobs are not coming back. Beauty Waddington says She said, we have to move forward, yes, but we have to understand as a people and stop shooting each other down. We asked Sean, who was at the meeting, and now we can't agree on one thing. I don't know if you expected us to leave here tonight on the same page, but that's not how it works. You should never think at the end of this show everybody gonna hug and walk away. It's mutual respect, but everybody gonna agree to disagree. It's a opinion fueled platform. Kevin LaFleur says Wisconsin Mott. Am I saying that right? That ain't Mott, is it, Kamar? I can't see. That's Mott, ain't it? So she said hello. Oh, what's up with you, Miss Sonia Walker? How you doing? Welcome to the show. You've been around. You part of the Outlaw family. Ernest said, my point exactly, Kev. Cube waited and changed votes. Changed votes for who? Who did he change votes for? Trump lost the election. Cube didn't change and Cube never said vote for the Republicans. He said, I tried to talk to the Democrats. They wasn't trying to hear me. If anything, Cube got done wrong because he tried to talk to them and they wouldn't talk to him about this black agenda, and black people still voted for him. So if anything, he got played. Brenda Peterson says, we are all inherently racist. I said the other night, and I got these clips that I'm about to put up, y'all, on TikTok, where I say in the beginning of the show, I'm not racist, but I am prejudiced. Because I love black people. I want to live around them. I want to spend my money with them. I want to converse with them. I want to be able to hang out with them. But I'm not racist because I don't hate white people because I love black people. That's not how it works. Kevin LaFleur says, Deion James, you survive. But you said, Deion, you said that black people didn't benefit from the civil rights movement. But do you think if there wasn't a civil rights act passed, you'd be able to live where you live now? Absolutely not.
Listen.
You wouldn't.
Okay, we can sit up. Listen, we can sit up there and say we benefited. Yeah, sure enough. But what I'm saying, it wasn't a bill solely designed for black people.
No, we the ones who did the crusading. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Jews benefited. So, okay, now listen. Now, hold on. Now, if you agree with that, so if we, the ones that got out there, marched, got our shit busted, got dead by dogs, sprayed with water hose, motherfuckers got assassinated, all type of shit, just to be able to say we want to vote, just to be able to be looked at as equal to someone else. What makes you think in 2028 or 2020, whatever, that we can solely, every black person get together and say, if you're not going to do anything for us, then we're not going to vote for you? What makes you think that we can do that if we sacrifice lives for votes to be did for us?
Well, first of all, your question is convoluted, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because you're saying,
how is it convoluted?
I'm about to explain it to you. Because what if those black people who got out there and voted and protested so we can get this shit passed, so that we could make some progress, had it gave up then, we'd be worse off than we were. And secondly, the whole thing is when you start talking about civil rights, no, it wasn't just for us. And there have been many other people who actually benefited from it, but that's why it was called civil rights. Most people think civil right mean black rights. That's not what civil rights means.
Right.
And it was a movement for all people who were being treated unfairly because of their racial or cultural identity. We just led the charge. That's the reason why we delineate now and talk about being foundational black Americans, which you also don't agree with. So you don't agree with the FBA. You don't agree with black people voting. You don't believe in swing power. And then when we say, what should we be doing? You don't have an answer for that either.
Wait, hold on. So everything that you said, everything that you said right there. So you saying that now, this is what I'm saying. We got out here and marched. Our ancestors, my grandfather, people in your family, we did whatever. Even for integration of school. But it just wasn't solely for black people, probably integration of school, for Chinese, for the Jews.
I just said that. It's civil rights.
So
it wasn't called black rights. You're saying the same thing.
So we got, wait, listen. So we got out there for everybody else. But you're saying, so now, when we want to go and take our vote and use our vote as a bargaining chip, is this solely for us or is everyone else going to benefit from it? Because maybe I'm confused. Because I'm looking
at
what's
wrong with everybody benefiting? What's wrong with everybody benefiting?
Well, that's what you were saying. Then I mean, I guess. I'm looking at something.
But you disagree with delineation because on one hand you saying, well, we should just be about us, but then you don't agree with delineation. You don't believe in us self-identifying as foundational black. You can't have it both ways.
No, I don't know. That's just something we made. Motherfuckers made up.
Well, everything is somebody made up. The goddamn light bulb is somebody made up. What are we talking about?
I just say this, man. Some folks you ain't gonna ever to please, and Deion one of them people unless he
Boy, you a Trump supporter. You need to get your ass on up out of here.
So again, you know, I think Deion has his own kind of axe to grind. He husky, but he's not intellectual husky, but he's just husky.
Yeah.
And it shows, right? Because he's saying stuff like, we ain't gonna vote, he's gonna pull our vote, but then you're concerned about the policies that are being passed. It's just a weird, convoluted, circular argument. It don't hold no water. You're gonna have to vote for policy, vote for people, but you want to say pull your vote back, don't do it. But you're pissed if your side don't win.
I ain't never said pull my vote back if you don't do it. What I said, we shouldn't try to hold our votes back and use our votes as a bargaining chip. That's what I said. If you're listening,
what do you think your vote is? Your vote is a bargaining chip. Deion, what are you talking about?
No.
Whatever. You could get off of Deion because you think we supposed to take our abuser back every time.
I ain't even really paying no attention.
This your fault, Kamar. This your fault.
She held that back. She held that butt. She held that.
A lot of shit to happen and say yes, sir.
Listen, y'all. Let me read this. Listen. Hold on. It's 10:13, right? It's 10:15. I don't want to be on here all night. Let me read my chat room.
Let me make a
hold on. Let me read my chat room. They've been sitting waiting patiently, and then I'm gonna let everybody have a little something to say before we go because Wild Wednesday done turned into Messy Monday. This is Beauty saying, what is it more black people in the world or white people? That's why Donald Trump is doing all of these moves. What are we doing with the knowledge that we have? Let's use Deion. Let's get you in the office. Let's start there. You have power. Can I choose whether or not I want to be in office? I don't want no parts of that. Brenda Peterson said, as white people, she said, hell, Trump wants to take away women's voting rights. Earl said, don't vote, smoke. Beauty Waddington said, whites are afraid of that someone is coming up and will make a difference. Kevin LaFleur said, Deion only voted once. He said,
I did.
And he voted that time because of being on the show.
I voted for the Project 2025, and I voted for the Supreme Court race too.
Sonia Thrower said yes. This is Sharita Shaw. Shout out to Sharita Shaw. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. She said black people should request tangibles to deserve our vote, regardless of what political party you chose. Yeah, well, that's what people do with votes. They use them to gain leverage. That's why you have special interest groups and lobbyists. If you think the minority vote doesn't matter, you are misinformed. That's why they fight so hard and scam so hard for it. This is Ewok. Ewok, we finna close out. You got a last word or something you want to say? Go ahead.
Tell Orlando, put that grease on his motherfucking hands while he's slapping his damn hands and shucking and jiving and shit and shining shoes and shit with his old bum ass. That's it. That's all.
Okay. Sean Moore, you said you had something you wanted to drop. Give it to us before we get out of here. What you got?
So this year I'm going home to Selma, right? I got a cousin, since we talking about voting and how important voting is, right? I got a cousin that was threw off the bridge, still living. I'm going to talk to her. She was threw off the bridge Bloody Sunday. And so we sit up here arguing about why we shouldn't vote, why we should vote, or let's withhold a vote. And we play favoritism for votes. It's about a person exercising their right to vote. I don't care who you vote for, right? But don't tell me that you didn't vote and then you want to have an argument or discuss some stuff, right? No, we're not doing that. If you voted for Trump, guess what? Now you know that you shouldn't have. If you feel like that, right? If you don't feel like that, then that's your opinion. Okay, cool. But us turning on each other, whether it's Republican, Independent, Democrat, that's exactly what they want, man. We still losing.
Okay.
When you say F that black man, we still losing, boss. You just as wrong as the person pulling the trigger.
That's just your eyes.
You just as guilty. Malcolm X said, if I sit and watch a man kill a man, a black man. I'm just as guilty as the person that pulled the trigger that killed the black man. And y'all said, hey, let's kill this brother. Let's throw him away. But we righteous. But we pro-black. But we care about us. How? That's not what we delivering right now.
Okay. Dion, what's your last take on this? We're on our way out. Remember that. So
I was listening to that shit Sean was saying. Hey, listen, man. If a motherfucker blow you in your brain and you live, and you steal your friends, fuck that. You know what I'm saying? If a motherfucker exactly. So if a motherfucker went against not only, you know what I'm saying, did something against the black community, you know, and like you said, that's your right to vote. But you knew what that vote was leading, coming down to. The motherfucker been saying it the whole time they was out there. So evidently you feel like you gotta, when you go vote, something about that person resonates with you. You know what I'm saying? You Trump ain't have no policy. You Trump ain't have no policy.
Let me ask you,
know what I'm saying?
Hold on, Sean. Hold on. We're at the end of the show. I just said that. We at the end.
Okay.
Erica, you are the lady on the show. You got something you want to drop before we close out?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I just want to say, protect children, save our children means to protect our black men, protect our women, protect our families. Low key, until we can't rebuild the black family, we're going to continue to be just debating about what we can do and not actually finding real solutions. And I'm tired of hearing the same old shit about what's wrong. Let's talk about how we fix this shit.
Okay, I can agree with that. Ewok the
Real
Great,
shit.
you still with us? You still with us?
And it's still fuck Orlando.
Okay. Ewok ain't with us no more. Okay. Orlando, what's your take on this? We closing out. Please don't do a dissertation.
I'll try my best. It's unfortunate, you know, we have comments like fuck Orlando. It's unfortunate that if you talk about the black community that we can't have a difference of opinion or a position. We are not a monolithic people. We're a free thinker. So this vitriol is just saddening to hear from Ewok and Erica. I can say fuck Erica too, but that'll be like sexist or something.
You already did. That's why it's fuck Orlando.
Well,
you was part of that smear campaign too.
Okay, well, fuck you too. I'll say this.
Oh, Lord.
Find out what you want to support as far as policy is concerned and go from there. Regardless of what people, color or whatever, if you like a policy, if you believe in an idea, go for it. All due respect. Kev, always respect your platform. So
Appreciate it. Anybody else? I got you, Kamar. Sonia Thrower says, I want to get this last comment. She said, really, that would be a nice change to see a woman as president and see what happened. But men don't want that. And Donald Trump, he needs to be in jail. And I vote all the time. And I'll make sure I take my time when I'm doing it. I take my time on listening. But damn, I didn't vote for him. Brenda Peterson said, Lord help us. That is the best statement of the night. Lord, God help us. We need Jesus. Wow. Kamar, what you got for us, man? You got a take on this whole conversation before you give your real OG joint or what?
Nah, man, I'm just gonna let everybody do their thing. Everybody calling each other names and shit. I don't want to be in that mess. Just go keep my ears open.
Well, hit us with some real OG shit, man.
Real OGs, I honor you. Somebody got to. Listen, I honor your determination because it's undying. I honor your resilience because it's strong. I honor your perseverance because you made it. Stay real, OG.
There we go. I will be back Monday. We'll be back Monday, man. Share the show. I know those of you who I converse with on a regular basis will call me. We'll talk about it. We'll rehash it. It is what it is. I know there's thousands of platforms that you could listen to. I'm so appreciative that you chose mine. I would just like to say, be the change you want to see. And if your criticism of the community outweighs your contribution to it, you are part of the problem. I'll see y'all Monday, man. Peace and love.
All right, love.